I'm sharp like a knife. Small time streamer, no fame, no crown, but my voice is my own, I won't back down. I guess I'm too raw, too rough, too plain, but I'm spitting my heart, not chasing some game. No corporate leash, no puppet on strings. I'm free in my words, hear the truth that I bring. No big channel shine, no glitter, no fakes. Minimal effort, just me and my takes. I'm speaking the truth, let the whole world know. Small time streamer, but that's how I roll. Do my words hit hard, give the system the chills. Minimal effort, no budget, no frills. I'm carving my path, let the fire erupt. Small time dreamer with a voice that's enough. Got a webcam flicker and a beat in my chest. Bass takes in my veins, spilling facts is my quest. I'm breaking the mold, no mainstream appeal. Just a kid with a dream and a heart made of steel. I sift through the data, the left and the right. No bias, no agenda, just seeking the light. They laugh at my setup, my low res stream, but my words cut deeper than the corporate screen. I guess I'm too raw, too rough, too plain, but I'm spitting my heart, not chasing some game. No corporate leash, no puppet on strings. I'm free in my words, hear the truth that I bring. No big channel shine, no glitter, no fakes. Minimal effort, just me and my takes. I'm speaking the truth, let the whole world know. Small time streamer, but that's how I roll. Do my words hit hard, give the system the chills. Minimal effort, no budget, no frills. I'm carving my path, let the fire erupt. Small time dreamer with a voice that's enough. I'm the spark in the dark, the glitch in the code. Carving my lane on this uncharted road. Million subs, no viral fame, but I'm owning the truth and I'm changing the game. I'll scream till my lungs give out, till the signal's dead. Every word that I speak is the blood that I bled. No big channel shine, no glitter, no fakes. Minimal effort, just me and my takes. I'm speaking the truth, let the whole world know. Small time streamer, but that's how I roll. Do my words hit hard, give the system the chills. Minimal effort, no budget, no frills. I'm carving my path, let the fire erupt. Small time dreamer with a voice that's enough.
Yo, I need somebody to tell me why ISIS is trending on politics on Twitter. Why is ISIS trending? 83,000 posts about ISIS on Twitter. I'm a little concerned. Well, Cage, it's not just you. I know there's a few people who tend to wait for me to post that I'm actually going to be live, since I'm such a slack ass who has a tendency to bail last minute and not commit to anything. But I do try to make sure I post it on Discord, just so you guys know. But yeah, now that I've figured out scheduling my streams, if I have enough time to schedule it, I'll try to do that instead of posting on Discord. But I will, once in a while, I'm sure, still make sure to post it. Must have matched all but one number. I swear the lottery games just gets cheaper and cheaper, and they're not all match wins. I got 3 numbers. It was 3 or 4. So Mega Millions, I think you have to have 5 numbers to get like $1 million, and then you have to get 5 numbers plus the Powerball to win the whole thing. But yeah, this last time I played, I got $10 and somebody else won $1 million, so that was cool. Not at all the way I was hoping it was going to turn out. The funny thing is, I don't gamble. I don't really play the lottery. Once in a while, when Powerball is up to like 500 million or 600 million, the wife will tell me, go get a lottery ticket. Like, why not? Post in Discord because YouTube doesn't notify for shit. You know what? Fair enough. Follow you on the green R, that notifies me. YouTube never does. Hey, Lugia, what's up is we've got so much to talk about tonight. Like, I had an entirely different thumbnail an hour ago. We were going to talk about the Indian poop flinging festival, the guy that went and did that, and then he got doxxed and harassed by Indians all over the internet. But then this whole Ghost of Yotei sales number thing came up, and I really wanted to talk about that instead. So I had to reverse course, grab a whole bunch of other tabs, different things to talk about, and then, of course, new thumbnail. And so I was also hoping to get a video done before the stream started. Didn't have enough time for that, but of course, I'm always like last minute. So here we are. We are just going to go ahead and jump into some of this stuff. Let me take a look here. I did have some funny shit for you guys. So let me double check all my tabs. There's one chick that Kata had found a video on that I cannot pull up her profile because I think it's a woman. People were saying she's trans. I don't know. I'm not going to verify for myself, but she's got like all of her Bobs and Vagine out on her Twitter profile, so I can't show her profile, but I want to make sure I have that video for later for talking about art graders. Let me see here. Yes, we've got the video. Perfect. And I cannot go to her profile. Her profile is not Twitter friendly at all. Why did the pic that was on screen look like she's about to do some ASMR? Dude, no, it's not JOI. It is not a JOI stream. It is better. Okay. No, it's not Nina Lynn, although I think I have one 40-second clip of Nina Lynn. We're going to go from bad to worse, okay? Hey, Mahindra, you're not late at all. We are just getting started. I decided to let the intro go a little bit longer, give people time to filter in here. We are going to go ahead and start with some humor, some cringe, and then we'll jump into all these stories that I have here. So, hey, Patriot, you have arrived. Her profile has demonized the video. Yeah, well, it's unfortunately, it's some YouTuber with 3 million subs. She's like a retired Marine. I say she because I think it's a woman. Retired Marine with fake ass, fake boobs, the whole thing, probably like 6.5 feet tall. Not very good looking. But she has like all the gun ASMR videos on YouTube and like does like the slow motion upshot with like the butt jiggling from the recoil. But people were saying this person's trans. I'm like, I have no idea. Hey, Truth. That was a test, Yes, DB, I know what that means. There's not many terms I don't know. Okay. Okay, we are products of the internet. I grew up with the internet. There are most things. I have seen some horrible things in my time, okay? Unfortunately. It is what it is.
Are the best way to show someone.
Oh, Patriot with the $2.
It is like this tangible thing that you can point to and say, hey man, I love you. This many dollars worth.
Been a while, so here are $2 bills.
Dollar bills. I love it. Patriot, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. All right. It's just for sad sacks. Yeah. Can we not talk about JOI, please? Let's talk about idiot kick streamers. All right. This is from ClipX on Twitter. It says, kick streamer Jackie crashes on stream while distracted by her phone. Now, do you guys remember like a month or two ago, we were watching that little clip of the girl screaming, hit me baby one more time, and then she crashed her car while streaming. Oh God. I don't like futa, okay? And that was one I did not know until like 6 months ago. But here you go. We got the big brain kick streamers here doing their thing. Let me turn this down a little bit in case it's loud.
I feel like I should pick up food, but like... Oh, you know what? I can make ramen. That's fine.
I feel like I should pick up food. You know what? I can make ramen. Okay, this person should not be behind her steering wheel, okay? This person will never, she's probably like 23, looking like she's 30 from the makeup and possible plastic surgery, and not a brain cell in her head.
I'll make ramen. That'll be it. Okay, what is it again? Where is it at?
I have no idea, Cage.
Can you post it again? Tega ecstasy.
So before we hit the climax of this little clip here, she's got her streaming phone camera set up on her dashboard, and then she's got another phone. So I'm guessing she either has a separate like Bluetooth camera or a second phone that she's using. So at least operating 2 devices while driving. All right. And there's the oh shit moment. And somebody pointed out, like, just watch in 14 seconds the amount of times that this woman, this idiot person, has like different thoughts going through her head about how she can get her, figure out a way out of this. There's the girl shock. Oh no, I need my daddy to come save me. Now the cringe embarrassed. Oh my god, what did I just do? And the oh haha. I'm just gonna play a dumb girl and hope that my good looks will get me out of this one. Yeah. I cannot believe some people exist on this planet. Can someone explain gooning to me? No, I don't actually know who it is. Kick streamer Jackie. Probably somebody who's got a million simps. She's got a subscriber goal of 280 and had already hit 221. So that's 221 people on Kick who had opted to give her money, I guess. Can someone explain gooning? I thought it was looking at something or someone in a lecherous way. Someone informed me that's not the case. As I understand, yeah, why does society let women drive? Gooning is just another word, another term for getting off on someone's images, photos, videos, whatever. So I think that there's jerking involved. I think there's some turkey jerking going. Why do female streamers keep on crashing? You know what? It's because of a lack of brain cells. I'm not even going to say it's because all women can't drive or all women shouldn't drive. There's a lot of them who shouldn't. My wife would never drive if she didn't have to. And that's not me making her not drive. She hates driving. But crashing on stream, that's a... Why? Well, okay, again, I don't personally understand the appeal of IRL streamers to begin with. So for me, this is something that's foreign to me. But yes, that was a thing that apparently happened. Now we go from retarded to cringe. And we've got DSP calling out his Kick chatters for being cheap. Okay, here's a fun one.
Get some more support if we're going to do that. Number 2, over on Kick, we've got one person who supported all night, your future stepdad, and it was 1 sub. So from now on, I'm going to be very abundantly clear with all of you on Kick. Don't ever ask anything of me ever again. Don't ask for me to add you messages, new emotes, pop-ups, nothing. Because until people on Kick actually support the content, you get nothing. The YouTube side, you guys have been incredibly supportive and nice people. But the Kick side just sits here whining, bitching, complaining about things, wanting more, and doesn't support. So you get nothing, okay? Unless we get 50 subs by the end of tonight, now it will be 49, you're never getting text messages in your moral support ever again.
This man, I swear.
So you got an hour left. Get to it. Or shut the fuck up forever. We're not going to listen to your bitching anymore. A lot of whiny people, demanding people who don't reciprocate. Okay.
How DSP is still around is a mystery to me, because I was getting told all the lore on DSP from somebody who I know on Discord 5 years ago when I had no idea who DSP was, and somehow the cockroach is still alive. How does he still get money, Patriot? People like lolcows. It's the same people who love watching Boogie have like meltdowns on lolcow live. It's all pure like lolcow farming. King of cringe, yes. YouTube just notified you that I was live 20 minutes late. Hey, but that's at least 20 minutes. Let's just say I could have been shadow banned and they might not have notified you at all. I mean, to be fair, I deserve to be shadow banned because I was actually thinking of taking what I was going to do in the stream tonight and get a video recorded beforehand. I might save some of these tabs and try to get a video recorded as soon as the stream's over, just because I wanted to do a video on the Ghost Yotei numbers, because I think that there's a lot of interesting stuff there, but whatever. Hey, Remy. He has a lot of mentally ill fans, and it's likely some detractors give him money, 100%. Hey, Geekazu. Too old for modernity. Lolcow. Somebody who becomes famous for being an idiot online and their entire existence is mockery. So, for example, people who like DSP, who people only go and get their entertainment out of watching him make an ass out of himself. He is a lolcow. People use him, they milk him because he's a cow for content. They get their entertainment out of him because he's just an idiot. So... yeah, individuals who are online and lack self-awareness, it makes them entertaining to milk for lulz. It's people who are basically either unaware that they are complete retards, or people who are easy to farm for content because they say and do stupid, cringe, annoying things. So, unfortunately, speaking of cringe, we now have Nina Lynn speaking out after her unban, responding to the allegations and firmly stating that she won't retire. Meanwhile, Asmongold stated that he won't stop until she leaves the streaming industry.
You know what I'm saying? And if you fuck up, it's okay. Own up to your shit and keep it pushing.
I am 90% convinced that she is trans at this point, to be clear.
Be better. No one's perfect, bro. Literally, no one is fucking perfect. You feel me? All right? Like, this is the one message I want everyone to hear. Evelyn and Wendy's chat and my own chat. I'm sure my own chat hears this all the time, but I'm serious. Like, coming from a bitch who always joking around. I'm always joking around. I'm always down to fucking banter and all this shit. But real talk, though, that's the reason why I came back.
Either trans or has throat cancer. Hey, Moxie Raid, Seabrew, welcome in, buddy. Welcome in, Raiders. Moxie, hope you had a great stream. I was going to try to pop in, but you know how it is. West Coast, Best Coast, streaming the same time. Me always being behind, getting stuff done. Yes, Black Cat, she does need to be in prison. She a YN? YN. Why am I not understanding that? We know not everyone's born perfect, otherwise everyone would be born with Hey, welcome in, Moxie and the Raiders. She said that I should be on her next Star Trek show. Yes, I think the 16th, Moxie is doing another one of our script reads where she's going to pick a Star Trek episode, and we're going to do a script read through that. So, hey, B-Man. It's going to be interesting because typically I've done data. I know the last time I wasn't available, somebody else did data. I'm not sure if that means that I don't get data anymore. I love being that dry, kind of that aloof character. Pulse Mannequin. Now, Pulse, I can't remember. You were formerly Boosh McFadden, right? Or was that, I'm thinking of somebody else. Did Boosh change his name? How dare I miss Star Trek? You know what? I had a good reason. I was in the middle of prepping for moving, okay? I think that was what was going on. So, she said we're going to show... Give me another couple of weeks to work out my pecs, and then I'll show boobs. My pecs are very, very sore right now. I managed 1,000 men. Thank you, Pulse. So, Boosh didn't change his name. That's right, 1,000 men, and then Bonnie Blue had her thing where she did 1,000 men. Yes, exactly. No, I'm very sore. I got to the gym for the first time in a month and a half yesterday, so a little tender in the pectoral department. But maybe I'll give you guys boobs next time. I'm a smoker. I don't sound like that. I've got a deep voice, and she sounds more butch than me. Yeah, I don't know. Maximum pecs, minimal effort, maximum pecs.
Yes, that was the last time I cried. It was for my grandpa. Yes. That I will always never, ever, ever make an excuse for. I will be fully honest. That's nothing.
I'm leaning towards more like throat cancer, maybe, because my God. No bobs tonight. No bobs tonight. My bobs are very sore. Gotta work back into it. I don't have moobs. I don't have an ounce of fat on my body, okay? Timu Aquafina. Yes, need more bobs and vagine. I know. I told you guys I was going to cover the Poop Festival video thing tonight, but other stuff came up and I do not have time now. Here's another fun one. Claire Obscure Expedition 33 was not nominated at the Grammys for Best Video Game Soundtrack. No Death Stranding 2 either, although I don't know because I don't play Death Stranding, so I have no idea how good the soundtrack is. Says, somehow I get the feeling the people selecting the nominees do not play many video games. So you got Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, a game that nobody played. Helldivers 2, which the music's decent. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, a game that flopped. Star Wars Outlaws, a game that was dog shit. And Sword of the Sea, a game I don't even know. Yeah, covering the Poop Festival. Shitty thing to say, exactly. Riker? No. I can't do Riker. I can't do Riker. That's, what's his face does Riker. He actually does a really good job at Riker. Why are the Grammys also for 2024 games? I don't know, because I don't watch the Grammys, but it was really funny. Somebody pointed out down here below. Ian Fish over at Kingmakers says, LOL, 3 movie-based games and one that released last year. Great job, Academy. And this guy here, Art Tishi, says, dude, it's not hard to get. Look at the list. Avatar is Disney, Indiana Jones Disney, Star Wars Outlaws Disney. Sword of the Sea, composer already won a Grammy for an Alien game. Disney. Helldiver, same composer as Star Wars Outlaws, Disney. It's not a video game list, it's a Disney list. So, I mean, that's it's possible, you know. Gaming industry is corrupt, exactly. Nominated by a deaf person. You know, the funny thing is, I really enjoy the soundtrack for Expedition 33. In fact, the deluxe edition is currently on sale on Steam. I was thinking of picking it up because I'm going to finish the game, and I'm going to want to actually own the game, not just play it on Game Pass once my Game Pass runs out. But as great as the soundtrack is for Expedition 33, I don't find myself ever having the desire to listen to it outside of the game. But I can tell you, the game, while playing it, the music, it's awesome. Sword of the Sea guy said he wishes he could give his nomination to Expedition 33 props there. Hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty awesome. Have the DEI conditions. Yeah, the Grammys do. All those different competition award shows do. Asmongold calls out the Grammys for snubbing Expedition 33. Says, why is Expedition 33 not in the running? No one gives an F about any of these games. The only one that should be on the list is Helldivers. Fire whichever pathetic retard put this together. They have no idea what they're doing. I think that is the absolute perfect response. Like, absolute perfect response right there. Let's see, one more. Speaking of gooning, Patriot, since you brought up the gooning. For anybody who cares, too little too late, I think, we are having a First Descendant Bayonetta crossover. Now, personally, this actually might work pretty well. I don't want to pull this up. I just wanted to click. Oh, you have to play it now. I'm not clicking on that. Anyways, I think that's a crossover that might work. But again, for that game, too little too late at this point. So, you know what? My nomination is Finian's Rainbow. That movie's a must-see. Not a lot of options for Game of the Year this year. I disagree, Geek. I think there are probably 5 or 6 decent contenders and 2 that are like really strong contenders. I mean, if you just look at the ones that I'm thinking of top of my head, live for the gooning. Such a shame they didn't get the gameplay down when they had momentum. I know. If they could have gotten better voice acting for the English side of it, because I wasn't playing it in Korean, I was playing it in English, and my God, I hated the voice acting. Story wasn't captivating me. The everything else about it, gameplay was decent, but it just, I don't know. Lumiere is the only song I go back to. Oh, dude, no, the music is phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. As far as music quality goes, the music in Expedition 33 is great. I'm just saying, personally, I don't find myself like listening to it outside of the game. But I can tell you, if we're judging it on the music in the game and the setting and the atmosphere it creates while playing the game, which should be the most important thing, then it's hands down it should win. What games then? Somebody had a list of them. So you got Expedition 33. For people who weren't turned off, burned out, and irritated by the whole discussion about the gay Hans romance thing, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a great RPG, if you can call it RPG, because I guess you can't. I don't know. That's a whole other topic, but that's an option. You got Hollow Knight Silksong, which I put quite a bit of time in already. Haven't finished yet, which is fantastic. First Berserker Kazan, probably not Game of the Year contender. For people who enjoyed it, Split Fiction seemed like it was a good game. There are games out there. I mean, I'd even say you could look at some of the other indie games, like, no, it's not the kind of game that you'd think would be Game of the Year, but Schedule 1, It's the most RPG of all RPGs released this year, right? And those are just ones that I'm thinking of off the top of my head. I know that there are other games out there too. Oh, Bayonetta is an awesome character as far as how she's designed. I've never played a single Bayonetta game. I love the design of the character. And I love playing her in Smash Brothers. Like, the character is super awesome. Oh no, Jimmy Savile's trending on Twitter also. Oh, good God. What did DB say? You're gonna riot. The mainstream game awards won't pick 33, which is crazy, I know. Hey, Empress, good morning to you. Still very broken heart over KCD2. I hate seeing the praise for it. I hate seeing praise for Metaphor 1,000 times more. It's unfortunate because there are pieces of the game. I mean, look, for what it is, the options that exist, the amount of the world and the time, like the schedule that all the NPCs have, and the amount of quests, KCD2 is a monumental feat, just from the development side alone. Unfortunately, they made decisions that pissed a lot of people off, and we're going to get into KCD2 in a second once we talk about Ghost of Yotei, because I think that there's some similarities we can look at. I think there's no other option. People are saying Arc Raiders. People are Shroud, that FPS streamer Shroud, who's been around forever. He was saying Arc Raiders should get Game of the Year instead of Expedition 33. Arc Raiders, as fantastic as the game looks, and as much as I'm probably going to buy it in the next week or two, and I'll probably regret buying it because I have no friends. At the same time, it's not going to be talked about in 10 years the way that Expedition 33 probably will. So, haven't seen the second half of the game. I am into Act 3. I finished Act 2. I'm into Act 3. And Act 3 is the shortest one of the entire thing, as I understand it. So, yeah, Arc Raiders came out a week ago, exactly. And then there's the reality that it's a game that was supposed to be free when it first was being talked about, and then they decided to make it a $40 game, which I'm okay with. I'm okay if you're saying up front, $40, complete game, here you go, full experience, great game, well polished, runs great, looks great, great time. But then you start adding in the extra cosmetics, and you go, why didn't you just make this a free game to begin with, you know? Well, I don't know the ending, Gulag, beyond Act 2. Act 2 ended incredibly, like, mind-blowing, like, oh my god, that was amazing. And then I'm into Act 3 right now. Yeah, War Habit, it is one of my... I can say this as somebody who grew up in the 90s, who played games in the 80s, because I was 3 years old playing on the Atari and the original Nintendo, and I can still remember playing those games on the classic Nintendo. I have games like Super Mario World and Ocarina of Time in my top 10 video games of all time. I would easily find a spot for Expedition 33 in my top 10. And it's just, came out, this year? It is really that good. As far as, like, the gameplay mechanics, the story, the customization, as far as, like, the different skills and stuff, the way you can... It is a phenomenal game. And it's not gonna speak to everybody the same way, because it is a turn-based RPG with QuickTime events and all those kind of things in the game. But it is definitely a fantastic... I could easily put it in my top 10 and not regret it. So... And I'm not a Final Fantasy guy. I played the original Final Fantasy. I played Crystal Chronicles on the GameCube. Those are the only two Final Fantasy games I've ever played in my entire life. So, not growing up a PlayStation player, I didn't get to play all the Final Fantasy PlayStation games. So, I have nothing to compare it to in terms of, like, more slightly modern Final Fantasy. The way they sell cosmetics and trinkets instead of making them milestones and displays of prowess, they're useless trinkets. Yeah, see, I haven't dove into the extra cosmetics in Arc Raiders yet. I haven't looked into it too much because I didn't buy the game yet, so I haven't really looked into that side of it. All I'm hearing, though, is people are saying that there are cosmetics that cost, like, as much as the game does. Yeah, DB, I never finished it. I tried making myself go back over and over to try to finish Crystal Chronicles. I just couldn't do it. And the game didn't suck. It was weird, I watched Smash play the opening. I suddenly had some dust in my eye. Oh, for what? Expedition 33? Yeah. Fantastic game. Really awesome game. I'm going to get around to finishing it at some point. I've just got so many other things going on. Okay. So let's get to the biggest story of the night. Something that I'm sure the people who love the game are celebrating, saying the Chuds lost. People on the anti-woke side saying, oh no, this game was a massive failure. And it's like, look, guys. The game probably paid for itself, it probably made money, and it's never going to outsell Ghost of Tsushima. I think two things can be true at the same time. Like I said about Assassin's Creed Shadows, as much as I flambéed that game and mocked the game and think the game looks like dog shit, and would never probably ever touch another Assassin's Creed game for the rest of my life at this point, I never said Assassin's Creed Shadows wouldn't make its money back. Now, to be fair, I don't know that it has yet, so I could be wrong about that estimation. I said 100% day one, Ghost of Yotei is going to sell enough copies to make its money back and maybe make some more. That was a pretty easy, it was a pretty easy thing to predict. However, we saw this report from places like Cosmic Book News a week ago saying Ghost of Yotei sales fall short of Ghost of Tsushima per leak, disappointment for a sequel. Mind you, the game's been out for 2 weeks or something at this point now, so we don't really have the same track record as Ghost of Tsushima to base it off of.
Absolutely not.
Yo, that was loud. Smeg with the 5
Do I
gifted.
need to be liked?
Holy crap, thanks, buddy.
Absolutely not. I like to be.
Yo, you hit Empress.
Absolutely not. I like to be liked. I enjoy being liked. I have to be liked.
Smeg with the gifted, buddy. I appreciate the hell out of you. Hope you're doing good, man. Yotei is way cheaper than Assassin's Creed Shadows. Yes. As far as the budgets go, Ubisoft allows themselves to get out of control and spend way too much money. And I think Sucker Punch, likely because they were also planning it as a DLC or a continuation of Jin's story, they had a lot of things to already work with, maybe recycling some assets or whatnot. They probably found ways to cut a little bit of the cost for Ghost of Yotei so that the budget didn't balloon out of control. They also got it done in about, 4 years? So it wasn't one of those things that got going for 7 years and they still hadn't finished it yet, you know? Let's see. I can see that. I still lean that CC is worse than TA2. Not TA2 is much better. Crystal Chronicles was interesting. I can't say I hated it, but it was definitely interesting. Yeah, Shadow's budget being north of $200 million. Not surprising there. So, that being said, I could probably look it up and see. I imagine Shadows has finally made its money back by now, but who knows? Maybe they never did. I don't know. Anyways, so there's this report that was coming out from Grums, and again, I take it with a massive grain of salt. But this article here says, Kern posted that Yotei sold 650,000 fewer copies than Tsushima in the same 30-day window, roughly 16% less, and that early momentum has already flattened. Now, this is something that you can kind of predict because Tsushima was always going to outsell games like Yotei. Tsushima's numbers were incredible the first month that it came out, right? And then, of course, it continued on year after year. Then it released on PC, and the PC numbers were incredible. So Ghost of Yotei, or Tsushima, I think has sold 13 million copies lifetime at this point, I'm pretty sure. Somewhere in that number. Ghost of Yotei has had all this controversy, right? So you could already assume it wasn't going to start trending the right direction right off the bat, because there's a certain percentage of people, even if it's a small group of people who said, I don't want to support Erika Ishii, I don't want to support Sucker Punch. These people hated Charlie Kirk. They hate conservatives. I'm not going to give them my money. That could have affected tens of thousands of copies being sold. I'm not going to say hundreds of thousands because let's be clear, most people, even if they are online, they don't follow this stuff religiously like a lot of us do. So it might have not swayed hundreds of thousands of people, but could it have swayed tens of thousands? Easily. Absolutely. So now we have actual numbers. Oh, of course, Smash JT pointing out on November 9th, Ghost of Yotei, most downloaded game on PS2, PlayStation Store in Japan, number 2 in the US, number 2 in Europe. Again, released in October, Sony exclusive, PlayStation exclusive, number 2 game behind Battlefield. Of course, it is the number 2 game. It's the only thing that came out on PlayStation that month. It is a pointless metric, and I've said both negative and positive things about that metric. You could take it and spin it either direction. You could say it's the best game on PlayStation, or you could say it doesn't matter because it's the only game on PlayStation. Again, you won't know until you see the actual numbers. I wouldn't support either of them. And Cage, I'm at this point now where I've already said I am done hearing support or separate the art from the artist. If you are so disgusted with the art or the artist or the person behind whatever because they've said terrible things, don't give them your money. Make that choice yourself. You know, the days of separating the art from the artist, I think, have long passed because now at this point, we are seeing people who are going out of their way to be as vicious and vile as possible. And if somebody actually says that they're going to, celebrate the death of some random person, I don't have to give them my money. They're not entitled to it, PlayStation has no games. All right, Cage, you're saying that as an Xbot, and I can appreciate that as somebody who never owned a PlayStation in my life. But they do have games. It's just they don't have many. And it's certainly not enough that I would have ever bought a PlayStation at this point. So we are seeing reports now, and these are from Gamatsu. Says PlayStation 5 has shipped 84.2 million units worldwide. 84 million PlayStations. Ghost of Yotei sold 3.3 million units. Now, again, I don't know if they count these as numbers that they sold to retailers or actual retail sales from retailers. I don't know how they do those numbers. But we'll take a look at the actual article here from Gamatsu and then kind of dive into the rest of it. They only had Death Stranding 2. I mean, yeah, Death Stranding 2 came out over the summer, didn't it? Shipped, not sold. PS and Xbox barely have any games these days. Consoles are pointless. I say that sadly as an old-time PlayStation fanboy. Yeah, Patriot, and it's like the only console, and this is I hate saying this because Nintendo needs to go suck a massive D at this point. The only console worth buying is Nintendo because unless you're going to emulate and find other means to play Nintendo games, they're the only ones that have console exclusives. Mind you, their hardware sucks ass compared to PlayStation and Xbox or a PC, But Nintendo is the only one that has any exclusivity left at this point. PlayStation games are on Xbox, Xbox games are on PlayStation, both are on PC. So there's no point at this point in buying an Xbox or a PlayStation anymore. Any reason to pass on a game is an excuse to keep your backlit? Dude, Gulag, exactly. And I'm saying, like, you could go buy, if you loved Ghost of Tsushima and you want to buy Ghost of Yotei, go do it. I'm not going to judge you for that. I don't care how you spend your money. I look at it and say, for me personally, I didn't love Ghost of Tsushima that much. I tried playing it for a few hours. I'll go back to it at some point, or I might never go back to it. Maybe one of my kids will play it down the road. You know, we all live in the same house. We can share the Steam accounts. One of my kids will probably beat Ghost of Tsushima when they're a couple years older than before I will. But I didn't love the first game enough to even be interested in buying Ghost of Yotei. So if I know the people behind the game hate me, then why would I give them my money? It's just common sense, right? I don't feel drowning a good choice. I still feel starved for games I call good, but my standards have been lowered for decades. Yeah, I mean, it's fair when you've been consuming, garbage or service. Let's not even say garbage or slop. I was watching Words of Paradise yesterday, and they were watching a Shad video, and he kept saying slop like every 5 minutes. Like, I'm not going to use the word slop, but when you've been consuming serviceable or passable quality games for a long time, you kind of get used to it and you don't expect a whole lot, which is why when there's a truly great game that comes out, it just blows people away because they forgot how good they once had it. So it says here 3.9 million units, and they're talking about PlayStations, shipped during 3 months, ended September 30th, 2025. Yeah, I mean, Ghost of Tsushima, it's fine for what it is. I think a big part of it is the environment, the storytelling, the music, the scenery, and all that. The combat seems decent. I just, for whatever reason, maybe it's knowing what I know about the actor, the voice of Jin, or after the Ghost of Yotei stuff, I just can't make myself care. I don't know. I've got way too many other games to finish. Total of 3.9 million PlayStation 5 units were shipped during the 3 months ended September 30th, 2025, which is up 0.1 million from the same period the previous fiscal year. Here are a couple of additional statistics. There are 119 million monthly active users on the PlayStation Network, which is up 3 million from the same period the previous fiscal year. So they're adding PlayStation Network users. PS5 and PS4 software combined sold 80 million units during the 3 months ended September 30th, which is up 2.6 million from the same period. Yada, yada, yada. This is the one that everyone cares about right here, though. Ghost of Yotei has sold through 3.3 million units as of November 2nd, 2025, 32 days after release. For me personally, I'm playing re-releases or remaster games. Well, and that's great, except I'm actually not a big fan of, like, I was thinking about this the other day because I tried playing the Oblivion remastered, and after a few minutes, I'm like, you know, why shouldn't I just go back and play the original game? Like, for me, the remaster wasn't jiving. I don't know. I worry when it gets to, like, remasters and remakes of games that I loved. Like, I'm the biggest, like, oh my god, give me an Ocarina of Time remake, right? I've been dying to have an Ocarina of Time remake for like 30 years. However, not for 30 years, you know what I'm saying. It's been a while, for at least 10 years now. But unfortunately, you have to trust the people doing the remake, and I don't know at this point if I would trust them to actually remake a game properly, you know? Did I see Brutus' article about Marty O'Donnell? No, I didn't see that. I saw he had shared a tweet of Alyssa Mercante shitting all over Marty O'Donnell. Now, guys, the funny thing is Marty O'Donnell has me blocked on Twitter, so I don't know what I did, but maybe he saw me crapping on Grums one day. I don't know. I'm like, okay, there are some possible spicy takes I could have had that would have got me blocked, but I don't ever interact with Marty. Like, I've never had a negative interaction. I've never said anything negative, never left a negative comment on his Twitter, nothing. But I looked one day, I'm like, dude's got me blocked. What the hell, man? Oh my god. Most games that seem remastered also get remastered to fit in the modern gender cult language. Exactly, yeah. Game of the Year, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Okay, Blueprints. Can somebody tell me what Blueprints is? I have no idea. I have no clue what Blueprints is. And everyone's saying it's like, oh my god, it's like this amazing game. It's like, okay, this is my Expedition 33. This is my, people go, oh, is Expedition 33 really that good? What's all the hype about? I know nothing about Blueprints other than people hype it up and I have zero clue. Let me see here. What else on that list? Split Fiction, Ghost of Yotei, Borderlands 4, Outer Worlds 2, Metroid Prime 4, Silent Hill F. I mean, some people like Silent Hill F. I don't know. Thing is, PS5's exclusives are not released right away, so if you can't wait, you will buy them, but they're too expensive. PC game is cheaper if you buy a CD key from a legit site. Right. And I like to buy them from like Instant Gaming and everywhere else that has, cheaper keys available. Oh, it's a puzzle game like an escape room. Oh, yeah, no, Borderlands 4 was a massive flop. I will call that one a flop, no questions. And I called Outer Worlds 2 a flop based on the early access numbers, and I think it was, I can't remember his name, a guy, he always comments on my videos. I really appreciate him. He was asking at the beginning of the stream last week, like, wait, how's Outer Worlds 2 a flop? It's like, trust me, look at the numbers. It's trending behind Avowed, okay? And Avowed was arguably a flop as well, so... But anyways, Ghost of Yotei sells 3.3 million units in 32 days. So here's some interesting numbers. So you got guys like this K-Med. I don't know if any of you guys interact with this dude, follow this guy, see this guy on Twitter. He's an ass, okay? He's one of these centrist types who's like far lefty, super left-leaning, but he likes to antagonize, Grums, Smash JT, Yellow Flash, Kada, J Viper. He's always bitching and fighting with everybody. Very dark. He is the opposite of. He's like the anti-Grums, right? So where Grums might go on some unhinged rant and make an ass out of himself because he shares things that have bad information, I've seen this K-Med guy do the exact same thing, trying to get a gotcha on like the anti-woke people. So he's just completely worthless. So he goes, there you go. Yotei sold 3.3 million. Is the conversation over? I don't know anybody who said the game was going to flop. People said they wanted to see the numbers. So I don't understand what his point is, other than there are some people on the internet who said, oh, it's not going to sell more than 1 million copies, right? You got people saying like, now we wait for Grums and his goons to respond. Them right now, fake news. Smash Dummy already trying to spin it. I'm sure they'll make something up about how it's a fake number. But Ghost of Tsushima sold that much in, okay. You actually have to compare it with Ghost of Tsushima. We're comparing apples to apples here. That's not an unfair comparison. So then you got this number here. This was from October 12th, right? Ghost of Yotei launch week sales crossed 1.6 million, estimates analyst. So right here you have them admitting weeks ago that the game was falling short of Ghost of Tsushima's launch sales. Now in 32 days, it sold 3.3 million copies. If you compare that with the 2.4 million units that they announced Ghost of Tsushima selling in its first 3 days, these are not like inconsequential numbers. I get it. You can believe Ghost of Yotei made its money back. You can believe it was a success. You can believe the studio looks at it as a triumph. If that's all that they were hoping it would do is make its money back, then okay, you can have that. I don't care. But compare it to Ghost of Tsushima. 2.4 million units in 3 days versus 3.3 million in 32. Then it gets even better because let me see here. Smash has this little chart here, which I'm not sure what let me check the community notes since I can do that here. Graph presented does not support Smash JT's claim. Ghost of Tsushima sold 5 million copies in 4 months on a platform with a larger install base while also being $10 cheaper. Okay, so they're just once again splitting hairs over the fact that there was more PS4s and Yotei's $10 more. Okay, well then make your games cheaper. I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, the post here says Sony announces Ghost of Yotei sales numbers, 3.3 million units worldwide in the first 32 days. For a sequel, it pales in comparison to Tsushima. Sony can't be happy with this.
Absolutely not.
Here's a visual comparison I made based on milestones from Ghost of Tsushima.
I have to be liked.
Best console is easy to assess. It's called a PC.
100%. 14 months, Meg. Holy crap. Dude, I appreciate the hell out of you, buddy. It definitely hit the low end of their performance expectations. Yeah, I mean, and even if it managed to make the money that they were hoping it would make back, because they charged an extra $10 for it compared to Ghost of Tsushima, I don't understand how people can look at this and go, oh, yeah, we owned the chuds. We beat the chuds. The woke boycott failed. It's like, well, first off, there was never an organized boycott. There was people online saying, screw these people. They said nasty things. I'm not giving them my money. That's at least a fair assessment of the situation. This wasn't J.K. Rowling might be transphobic, so I don't want to buy a fictional video game set in Hogwarts. Slightly different situation. She had very little to do with actually making those games. By this point, I'm confused. He said, like, sounds like community notes are admitting the PS5 is worse than PS4. Well, the community note's just worthless. I haven't decided. I'll take a look at this before I vote on it, because I actually have some sway on community notes. I was one of the OG guys on here. It's opinion. My problem with the note on this is its opinion. His opinion is that the numbers pale in comparison to Tsushima. That's an opinion. He's entitled to his opinion. The graph doesn't support his claims. How? The chart shows exactly what he says. He says, when I created the table based on the milestones hit, I asked ChatGPT why I had Ghost of Yotei trailing so far behind Tsushima, and it said this. He asked it, how did you get to that outcome, and why is Yotei falling so far behind Tsushima? The chart reflects verified sales milestones and realistic projections. Ghost of Tsushima sold 2.4 million in 3 days, 5 million in 4 months, and climbed to 13 million lifetime, showing strong word of mouth and long-term appeal. Ghost of Yotei, despite launching on PS5, hit only 3.3 million in its first month and shows slower momentum. Why it's lagging, weaker reviews, 7 out of 10 average versus Tsushima's 8.5. Less novelty, it's a sequel, not a fresh IP. Which, again, Susano's not here tonight, but Susano is a firm believer, and we've talked about this on stream many times, that sequels are just generally not going to do as well as their previous titles, which there are a lot of examples of that. Crowded release window, competing with multiple AAA titles, smaller PS5 install base, and lower replay buzz. In short, Tsushima exploded through hype and timing. Yotei is solid, but lacks that same spark or cultural moment, which I think is a fair assessment. And based on that, making that chart, it's like, how can you argue with this? This is just reality here. This is, and again, people will argue. I've seen people on the, I hate Grums, hate Smash, hate anti-woke YouTuber grifters side of things saying, well, yeah, but Tsushima had COVID and they had the lockdowns. Okay, yes, it did. And those absolutely helped the sales numbers of Tsushima. What's your point? If the point is that Yotei doesn't stand a chance in hell of matching Tsushima's momentum and ever hitting the sales numbers that Ghost of Tsushima did, then okay, then you concede that it had never had a chance. I don't understand. Sequels do great if they honor the first game. How did KOTOR sequel do? Yeah, exactly. I think Knights of the Republic 2 sold more than the first one, didn't it? I was betting on Yotei to at least sell 5 million. Oh, I'm sure it'll hit 5 million. I have no doubt that it'll hit 5 million. I just don't know how long it's going to take. The question is, how many of those are going to be copies that it has to reduce the price on, put on sale? Because again, every time they sell another copy, you could say, hey, that's another copy sold. But if they sell a copy at release for $60, and in 2 years I can buy it on a sale for $20 or redeem it for free through the Epic Game Store, I'd never use ChatGPT in a defense of my argument. Neither would I, Smeg. But at least if ChatGPT is where he got the chart from, then at least it makes sense to have it explain the reason for the chart. And you can't argue a conservative, right-leaning, anti-woke bend because ChatGPT, it's Google, and Alphabet's, woke as hell. So at least that's the one positive to using ChatGPT in that situation. If Yotei was more expensive, then it's not even a fair comparison. Yotei was $10 more. Let me see here. I was betting on Yotei to do 5 million. Sequels overdoing the previous entry is a thing of the past when games are released more often and cheaper. Yeah, now with the sequel coming years later, more expensive platforms. Yeah, and you also have to factor in right now the economic issues, tariffs, and everything else where people are a little more worried. The funny thing about this is I was thinking about comparing this to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Both games that came out this year. Similar, I would say. I don't know if you can consider Ghost of Yotei an RPG. I don't know. I don't know if people consider Ghost of Tsushima an action RPG or not. The titles, the definitions of games get super muddy these days. I have a hard time. Everything's a Souls-like, so I'm kind of like over classifying games as a type of game. But Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 did decent for sales. And the reason I think it's important to point this out is much like a lot of the negative controversy around Ghost of Yotei, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 had a lot of negative press leading up to their release, which I truly believe, just like Yotei, probably affected tens of thousands of copies sold. Did it affect hundreds of thousands? Probably not, but easily tens of thousands, right? So even though KCD2 sold 5 times faster in its first month than the original game, it took longer, I think, than it was expected to get to like 3 million sales. I think it took like 3 months to hit 3 million sales. And currently, there's not actually an update that I can find on how many copies KCD2 has sold. I would argue that, unfortunately, for whatever the intention was behind the gay romance option they put into the game, it definitely did hurt the impact this game could have had. It definitely hurt the momentum, much like the negative press around Ghost of Yotei. So unfortunately for them, this is just a thing that happens that you really can't predict, you can't plan for, and the internet's going to do what the internet does. So the first game has sold like, what, 10 million copies at this point? Okay, no, the first game's at 7 million, second game's at 3 million, the numbers that we saw. Will KCD2 ever break 7 million copies sold? Maybe, eventually. I was an easy customer for KCD2, but ended up not buying it. I will still play it when it's free or on a good sale, yeah. The Jews' issues are caused by the rabbi and Samuel. I haven't gotten to that part yet. Probably never will.
It is like this tangible thing that you can point to and say, hey man, I love you, this many dollars worth.
Game of the year, Mind's Eye. Nothing compares.
Oh man, that is the one game right there. That game, as well as maybe a couple of other ones, that makes me really hope that Stuttering Craig gets everything organized for a better version of the Real Game Awards that he did last year. Or was that this year? I'm trying to remember when they did the awards. And thanks for the 5, Smeg. Appreciate you do. I'm really hoping that they get that all figured out, because it would be fantastic to see that one up for like the worst game of the year, the shitty ass game of the year award. Yeah, like a Razzie, exactly. Never been the need of the woke. They weren't going to buy your game anyway, right? And Cage, the funny thing about that is there was a quote from Daniel Vavra saying basically, I figured that the way I put the diverse stuff in the game, it would piss off the journalists, but it actually pissed off the other people. So I don't know what his intention was. At the end of the day, it was one of those things that he just should have left well enough alone and just made the game he wanted to make, you know? Are you not allowed to wave anymore? I don't know, Avernum. Is waving now illegal in your country? Oh, man. But yeah, if you ignore the Jewish thing, the gay thing, and the girl boss, it's fine. Quality of KCD2 is also superior. Yeah, that is something, too, that I would argue compared to the first game is KCD2 was a massive step up from the first game in terms of, like, just the open world environment, all the different moving parts going on, the quality of the game, and it ran beautifully. KCD2, one of the highlights of that game is how smoothly it runs with the amount of crap on screen all at one time. It's crazy how much stuff there is on screen at one time in that game. And it runs like butter. So, the diverse stuff pissed off the fans, me, by not keeping with it being period appropriate. I felt preached at. Yeah, nobody wants to feel preached at, you know? You got an error twice for trying to send just 2 emotes? Damn, dude. Musa. Yes, Musa. And I don't know, people had mixed feelings about Musa. Again, one of those quotes from Daniel Vavra was that he figured putting Musa in there would you know, piss off the journalists the way that he portrayed him, but I don't know. It was one of those things. It's like, I think, to be fair, KCD2 probably suffered from having too many writers. Because if you saw the script from the first game next to the second game, and you saw how they had expanded their writing team, it's like, okay, this is having that many cooks in the kitchen, never a good idea. If Musa was white, he'd still be awful. I mean, there are just some characters who are just bad. Bad characters are bad characters. Doesn't matter what their skin color is. Arab would have been so much better. Yeah. Basically an unlikely guy to be where he was. Right. See, Smeg can wave. He didn't get like a special pass. You know, there are many black Muslims. Again, I don't know if it has to do with the region he came from. It's been so many months since this whole drama came out, guys. I don't know the reasoning behind it, but it is what it is at this point. I kind of want to skip over the Sydney Sweeney stuff and come back to it. I really want to talk about Predator. I'm going to jump ahead to Predator Badlands, and if we have time, we'll talk about Sydney Sweeney's movie flopping. It's not really, there's not too much to it at this point. I'm special, my mother said so. Hey, we're all special to somebody, right? I have it, but I can't stand the rules with the mixing potions in real life and everything like that. It's a chore. Dude, talk to Patriot. That Patriot lives for that shit. The alchemy in the game, he was telling me about that in the first game, about how, oh my god, you have to do this. I could do this for hours. And to be honest, I kind of get it. The alchemy system in the game is so intricate that it's actually kind of addictive. That's a clap, not a wave. And he as a member might be built in spam protection. I don't think so. I don't have any of that kind of stuff blocking emotes. That's all through Streamlabs, unless it's a YouTube side of things, but I don't have anything for that. Oh, he portrayed him as more enlightened than the natives. Yeah, there was that thing. That was the problem with it. But again, my thought was maybe he did that on purpose to make it seem like he's an asshole, but I don't know. Man somehow magically learns the local language despite him being a traveler. You know what? Now you're stepping on my toes, because I loved 13th Warrior for being one of those really bad 90s movies. And 13th Warrior, when you look at it like realistically, is dog shit. However, that movie slaps, okay? That Predator right there also looks special. Yeah. Well, you got to remember... Okay, so before we talk about Predator, guys, I want to be like total disclaimer here. I've watched every Predator movie, except for the animated one and this dog shit thing. I watched Prey, and if you liked Prey, great. I thought it was one of the worst Predator movies ever made. And I have lots of reasons for that I could go into in a different stream. But I have watched every Predator movie made up to the new one now. Never in my life did I ever know the actual name for the Predator species was Yotei or something like that. Yautja, I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't care. Because for those of us who grew up watching the movies as movies and didn't get into like the extended lore and the books and the comics and the spin-off things, we didn't want to humanize the Predator. We wanted the Predator to be a big, evil, nasty, hulking, violent like monster who can kill anything and wouldn't have any remorse, like not a shred of remorse, okay? So the fact that they're now making him like humanized is insane. But apparently this is the best box office for a Predator movie except for Alien vs. Predator when adjusted for inflation, I guess. Earned a total of $40 million domestically in its opening weekend. Says this total will break the record for the highest grossing debut in the flagship Predator franchise. Yes, this hideous looking thing. Wasn't the name given in the second movie? I don't remember if they actually said that name. Predator face kind of reminds me of all the Veilguard memes with that creepy looking Kunari, yeah. I don't know that they said Yotei or however you pronounce it in the second movie. Because at that point, the guys, when they had Gary Busey and stuff, and they were still like talking to him about trying to like capture the Predator and stuff so they could experiment on him or whatever, they didn't know where he was from. Yeah, I called him an ugly motherfucker, right? Yautja, I guess, yeah. First appeared in the Predator expanded universe specifically in the novel Alien vs. Predator, Prey by Steve Perry and Steve Perry. Steve Perry! Yeah, I love Steve Perry. Now I want to rewatch Desperado. That's Predator with Downs. No, he's a runt. Okay, so here's the retarded thing. We're going to get into the shills and people online, the Gen Z Zoomer slop lovers who have been defending this movie. But people have actually put articles like this out on Variety saying how Predator Badlands star Demetrius Schuster Kolo Amatangi became the first Predator to be a hero. Now, stop right there. Predator should never be a hero. Ever. You could possibly tell a story from like the Predator's perspective, but humanizing and making him the hero and not the villain is ass to me. That to me is a woman Predator. No, so okay, so you get it. This is my point about the expanded universe for Predator. Apparently, here's the way it worked. And I was watching Words of Paradise talking to Niat from Comics Explained. I think that's the name of his channel. He was explaining because he knows all the lore on Predators. The oldest members of the species, the rulers, the highest of high rulers, are typically male. Then the commander class, if you will, the ones who are in charge of making all the other minions do their bidding, are the females, which are typically larger than more aggressive than the males. The males are the only ones who leave the homeworld to go hunting. So if you're following the actual expanded universe lore, even the society that they're trying to say is female dominated is still patriarchal, because ahead of the big, strong, empowered women are the ancient, super old males who still run everything, right? Predators are just predators as an apex predator. They're meant to be the absolute height of hunters in the universe. Yeah, and they're not supposed to have remorse, This is like the hunter crying over Bambi's mom, right? Just compare the head shape to every other predator. So they're trying to say, because every Predator movie has a slightly different variation, is that there's different planets that have different, species of Yautja that have different variations and different styles. He looks female. Well, there was one article that said he was trans or gay or some queer or something. Yeah, Epstein and Watkins were heroes too. Okay, fair enough. All right, so this I just want to read this first line. He first auditioned for Predator Badlands. He didn't know he was trying out to play the first of the titular aliens to be the hero instead of a villain in the 38-year-old franchise. In fact, he didn't know he was auditioning for a Predator film at all. He wasn't even provided any written lines. The 24-year-old actor has had to rely on his own imagination. As a kid in Auckland, New Zealand, he relished going to his local cinema and drank in movies as often as he could. Where do you think this is going, guys? But as the child of a Tongan father and Samoan mother, I grew up not really seeing too many Polynesians on screen, he says. Now, this is from Variety. Variety that always does the gayest Marvel movie ever interviews on the red carpet, right? I didn't think it was possible, to be honest, to have a brown face on screen, especially from my end of the world. Like, fuck off, man. Just fuck off. You're playing Predator. Fuck off. Okay. I know I don't curse much on stream usually, but like, fuck off. Was he also the first trans gay man? Probably. Wouldn't surprise me. Here's one that I love. I found this and I'm like, oh my God, as a short man, I am beyond offended right now. Okay. Let me scroll up because the first article here was about how Predator Badlands has the most emotional and brutal opening scene in the franchise history. If you guys don't mind spoilers, I know enough about this movie to kind of go through some spoilers. So just fair warning, you guys have like a 10-second head start. The opening scene to this movie, apparently this runt is going to be executed by his brother because his father says, kill the weakling, he's not worth keeping around, and the brother betrays the dad and helps the brother escape. And so Deck here, whatever his name is, escapes and the brother gets killed. And so he goes on like this revenge mission to avenge his brother and become the badass warrior and all this other crap, right? Okay. So his whole mission in life is to kill his dad, basically. So then I got to this article here that says, as a short dude, Predator Badlands spoke to me a lot more than I expected. You know, when I watch a movie, I expect to see it. I don't expect to be seen by it. But that's the case with the recent Predator Badlands, as it's a movie where I truly connected with the protagonist. Guys, we have reached levels of the people saying that demons in Devil May Cry are immigrants, orcs are brown people, the alien insects on Starship Troopers are like undocumented immigrants, or the Star Troopers themselves are fascist Nazis or whatever. Now we're identifying with the Yautja, right? Now we're identifying with the hideous, freak, alien, mass-murdering race of people. As a short dude, I hate that I share a height with this kid. Dude, Patriot, right there with you. As a 5'6" person, yeah. I'm like, dude, you could piss all the way off. You know, I'm that kind of person that despite being vertically challenged, I would still have women walk up to me at a store and ask me to get something off the top shelf. Like these little old ladies that ask me to get something. And it's like, I would climb my ass up there and get it. Okay? Never once did I be like, I need to feel seen on the screen by some alien monster. Now, I don't mean that in the sense that I felt like I was a Yautja on a dangerous planet out to prove myself. No, I mean in the sense that just like Deck, the predator who we follow in this film, is considered a runt, I'm also considered a runt of sorts since I'm statistically small, as the average American height is 5'9", and I'm below average at 5'6". Yeah? Do you also have a little dick too? I mean, maybe maybe he's got like an impotence thing going on, or I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. When the studio has to promote the actor behind the makeup of the Predator, you know they're trying to pander. Right. I don't have a clue. What the actors who played the other Predators look like. I think in the first movie, wasn't it? It wasn't Dolph Lundgren who played the Predator, was it? I could be wrong about that. But again, it didn't matter. Nobody cared. It did not matter who was in the Predator suit. Oh yeah, the downgrade is real. 1987 to 2025. Now, the crazy thing about this is I can understand what they're trying to say about the new predator being a runt, different species maybe, all this other stuff. But there's no reason that cosmetically, aesthetically, as far as the actual effects go, why this one should look so much better than this one with a 40-year gap between them. I don't understand it. Take away the whole, we want him to be a runt and look different because he's a different species of predator. Whatever. You can make up any bullshit excuse you want. Why does it look like shit? Not just on the surface, but like the design, but it just looks terrible. There's no way the actor said this shit. That's not how people talk. That's how bloggers write. Well, Warhabit, to be fair, he was doing an interview with Variety, and Variety is all about identity politics, so they probably guided him in that direction, and either he just willingly went along with it or was too stupid not to notice where they were going. So they didn't say what the actual interviewer asked them. I love when YouTube shows me your live stream an hour after it starts, and yes, they made it just look like a human in a lame costume. Right. They humanized him at the end. And this is what I was saying, before you got here, was just like orcs and the aliens in Starship Troopers and the demons on Devil May Cry, they are trying to identify and, humanize with the evil, nasty, demonic, despicable monsters,
You can point to and say, hey man, I love you this many dollars worth.
Sympathy, empathy for predators. Hollywood will never live down the accusations.
What was it that Hillary Clinton called black people super predators? As I recall, Hillary Clinton decided to call young African-American men apex predators or super predators or whatnot. But yeah, no, in this case, they're identifying with the alien predators, right? Smeg, appreciate you, dude. You don't have to donate so much, but honestly, man, I really appreciate you just hanging out and being here, dude. Having all of you guys here just makes it all worth it. And again, thank you to Moxie for the raid. I love when people I know actually are having a good time, having a good stream. It sucks sometimes when the streams are slower because, more people are busy and whatnot. But I like seeing the people I like actually having a good time and being supported. So it's awesome. It's probably a milking farm thing. Yeah. There's another reason they like it. Yeah. Oh, the actor was named Kevin Hall. He was not a big actor back in the day, and he was only ever in a few things here and there. Hey, DB, did he go and do the, no, the JOI videos? No. Anyways, the point of this is that the new predator is soy who becomes better soy. Well, okay. Even if we want to, not judge it on the appearance, let's talk about the actual concept of the movie. Why would you want to watch a runt predator? Okay, so this one has to overcome. The Predator story has never been about overcoming adversity. The Predator is supposed to be the most iconic, legendary, intergalactic, mercenary, murderous hunter that exists. Why do you want to watch the one who's considered a screw-up, a runt, an outcast by his people, who's significantly shorter, significantly smaller, less imposing, less deadly? What makes it actually... It's actually my favorite stream. I'll never admit to saying that. Fair enough. But I will scream cap that right now, and that way you can't ever deny it. At least the Predator wasn't made into a girl boss, but Oblivion, they're trying to do that. The people, you'll see in the comments in the replies that I've got brought up here, people are trying to say, oh, but didn't you know Yautjas have always been a female-dominated society, and they're bigger and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, shit writing from people who have no talent. They were talking about this on Words of Paradise, about humor in movies, about how this movie, they tried to make it humorous. And why did Marvel do that? And why they always have gags and comedic moments in movies. And you can have movies that are serious, that have little brief moments of levity that kind of prepare you mentally for what's about to happen. That's fine. That's good writing. Unfortunately, none of these people know how to write. That is the biggest problem. So then you've got Horror Emirata saying, I'm not normally that person, but if you think this is an appropriate way to market a Predator movie, we probably can't be friends. Now, guys, I can't play this with the audio because it's a copyrighted song. Let me just turn it down. I'll turn down the audio. But this is beyond cringe. These are the two. This is the Predator, and of course, Ellie Fanning, I think her name is. I don't pay attention to most twit actresses these days. There's that part of the song. Yeah, he gets a cute pet. Yeah, pet, I know. Oh, I've got that clip too, don't worry. Yeah, Brilliant marketing, right? That's going to make me want to go watch the movie. As somebody who grew up watching, I watched the first Predator movie when I was like maybe 8 or 9 years old, okay? Like, as somebody who grew up on these films, these were a staple in my house. I can't even stomach what I'm looking at, right? Lip reading talk. Oh my God. I hear 4 non-blondes, that's it. Yeah, dude, it is so bad. So bad. Yes, might as well start twerking, but unlike She-Hulk, this movie's actually going to make money somehow. So you have Bleeding Fool, which is, again, a parody of Bleeding Cool. It says, Predator Badlands has scored the biggest domestic opening in the franchise with $40 million. On a $105 million budget, the movie needs $210 million to break even. OMB Reviews says this is false. The film needs to make roughly $315 million globally to break even based on where it's making money. Three times multiplier seems more necessary. Again, I'm not an analyst when it comes to how exactly they have to make their money back, but again, it is a thing. I feel like the guy from Simpsons with hiccups for 40 years watching this kill me. Oh, I'm sorry, DB. Let me go back and take a look. Hang on. You know, it's funny about the old film Predator versus this one, though. Without looking it up, does anyone know what race Kevin Hall, the dude who was the Yotei in Predator 1 and 2, was? I would guess... I mean, originally I was thinking Dolph Lundgren, but I guess black. Predator looks lame as... Yeah, it really is. At 8 or 9, the original Predator literally gave me nightmares. I slept in the kitchen with the light on. It didn't give me nightmares, surprisingly, but it should have. The mask looks like the son on Cher's biker movie. Thing is, if they replaced the Downditter with an orc and the crippled android with an elf, then nothing would change. Generic fantasy slop idea in our Predator. Hey, Vernum, that could literally be like a Lord of the Rings spinoff. So, white? Black is correct, but we never knew. Oh yeah, I know, he's a human, exactly. So, here you have the Stan accounts, okay? The people who live to support the current thing on Twitter. The last 3 films of the Predator franchise. Mind you, I was asking Niat over on Words of Paradise's stream about this. I don't know if any of you guys saw Predator Killer of Killers. It was an animated film. They had you can see right here at the very top, the lesbian Viking-looking woman. And then, of course, there was like a black guy in World War II era, the Japanese samurai era. There was like a whole bunch of random people that are being hunted by the Predators, right? Apparently, this film is dog shit. I didn't see it. But he's a massive Predator lore nerd, and he said this film is like abysmal. One of the worst things he's ever seen. Prey, I loathed and hated, not because it was a woman, and this is what they always run with. Oh, you just don't like women in movies. I would have had no problem with the woman being the main character. Let's say her whole tribe got wiped out and she had to struggle to survive on her own. Like, again, based on the Predator lore that we knew from the original movies, if you're a non-combatant, the Predator wouldn't target you, right? So if they had done that and made her like struggle to survive and then overcome, like actually develop the character instead of just making it a girl boss that wanted to be a hunter, that would have made sense. But Prey was dog shit. The hunters were all a bunch of, I don't want to say the word on stream, they were like bundles of sticks. They were pathetic. They talked like, you know, Gen Z LA college students. They were retarded. She was annoying. The dialogue was cringe. The whole movie was retarded, okay? If you liked Prey, that's fine. A lot of people did, but I despised it. Prey, the one in the cave, that one was, I can't remember. Prey was the one set in the like 1800s. They were a Comanche tribe. She was one of the women, and she spent the whole first part of it complaining that she didn't want to gather berries and seeds. She wanted to go hunt with the boys. It was pathetic. And the Comanche would have not put up with that shit, okay? That's my biggest problem with the entire thing. They would have said, hey, woman, shut up and go pick the berries. They never would have like tolerated that crap. It was so bad. So then you got this one here, and I find that, okay, talking about identifying with the freaks, just wait until they learn about the female Yautja being larger and the dominant sex of the Yautja species and culture. I'm not making this up, by the way. This is actual lore. Again, according to Niat, they are, except they're not the dominant ones because they still have a patriarchal society where the elders are still male. Okay. Then this guy here says, was the lore, but has been retconned to shit anymore. When they forgot Yaoche existed, the Hish version from Forever Midnight could change sex like clownfish. Then they tried to mash both lores together with mixed results. And then she says here, even more troubling for anti-woke folks, trans Yaoche. So you do realize that species that can change sex are not transgender, right? There's a term for that. It's called sex reversal. It is an actual thing. She wanted to go hunting with the boys. We all know she just was hunting pythons. No, not even. Yeah, no weapons and you're safe. Yeah, and they could have actually made an incredible story off of that. And the movie wasn't all bad. There were good parts of it, but overall I hated it. So again, trying to say that an alien species, much like amphibians on this planet, frogs, clownfish, whatever, that can change sex in single-sex environments where they have to, which is called sex reversal. It's not called transsexualism, mind you. You can even ask ChatGPT if sex reversal is transgenderism. It'll say no. Sex reversal is biological. Transgenderism is mental. ChatGPT will say that, okay? And yet she wants to compare the freak alien sex reversal to transgender people. These people didn't get the memo that woke is over. No, it's funny. It's funny because they seem to think woke is still in. At this point, I don't care about this franchise. Remy, the franchise has been bad for a while. There's been a lot of really bad Predator movies. Man, I feel bad. Whoever has to helm the Predator franchise after Dan Trachtenberg's generational run. This is a generational run, apparently. So here you go. You guys want humanized? I'm sure this is going to get copyright claimed. I'm sure it will. So I'll have to cut this segment out. Here you go. You know, I could just play it with the subtitles because there's no spoken words anyways. So again, you got little runt Deck here finds something on his brother's ship. And it's a little toy, right? And he's saying you kept this toy, and his brother says, you remember what happened? He says, I lost my fang, and his brother here says, and you saved my life. You protected me. Then he has him come here. He gives him a new upgrade for his weapon, whatever. It says, don't blow yourself up. So they have to, go back to being serious. But these accounts are like, Quay or Kwai, whatever his brother's name is such a badass, the best brother any Yaoche could ever ask for. Up until now, I never realized that Yaoches even had the capacity to love. I thought they were just literally cold-blooded hunters. Well, that's where they're supposed to be. You're not supposed to know anything about them. Then you got another one here saying both Predator and Alien are infamously against toxic masculinity and pro-women. The great feminization started in 1979. You just weren't paying attention. Another one here saying, it was this day that Deck involuntarily became a big brother to a baby Kalisk. Right when Deck thought he bested his miniature opponent, I was quietly laughing hard at this scene. This is one of the most real things I've ever seen from a sci-fi movie. This is, again, his little Grogu here. Okay, where's the... So he's flexing his sword on this little mutant thing, right? And somehow it pops up with this little stick with a fire on it, as if it's like, yeah, look what I've got. I don't know. I don't know why or how. Again, the thing I've read about this movie is people are like, oh, it's so funny. Haha, that's so funny. There's so many comedic moments. It's lady porn. It's because of Ripley. It's a non-canon parody. And apparently they rip off the Alien 2 robotic suit that Ripley wears. And they do it like 10 times over, like a bigger suit, I guess. I don't know. Putin, I need to borrow the nukes. Yeah, push the button, Putin. Then you've got this one here. Geeks and Gamers saying Predator Badlands off to a mediocre start at the box office despite media praise. This dude here saying these guys are just upset they couldn't find a way to work a racial slur into their review. Oh yeah, when Deck was a baby, wouldn't they have tried to kill him seeing he was a runt? Does that mean that Quay took him away? Did he raise his baby brother? Again, trying to humanize the freaks. Deck's attorney, I think this is the same account. Oh, it's a different account. There was one that was Wanda's attorney back during the MCU days. That was a complete shill account. Adjusted for inflation, AVP is the only movie to make more, and that's because the Alien brand mostly carried. Y'all are in shambles. Alien vs. Predator wasn't good. It was good the first time I saw it in theaters. Watching it again, I'm like, oh, this movie did not age well. Oh, they're going after Critical Drinker really bad. Yellow Flash had a video on that. Yeah, the number of gymnastics that they have to do to champion feminism. Yeah, 100%. I want to move. I want a movie with his brother. Yeah. His name is Dick if you say it in a Kiwi accent. Oh my god. Yeah. His brother is the real man, exactly. The one with Adrian Brody's not terrible. I'll show you guys my tier list in a minute. Just like there's only one Blade, there's only one Predator movie, 100%. Tarantino should make one. I'm not a Tarantino guy. Bit on the nose, claiming that Predators are trans. Yeah, it's a bit much. Predators should not be speaking like humans, especially the pathetic kind of human. Yeah, his father's also a man. Yeah. So here you go. The way he was staring at Thea or Tia, and the moment he caught those sad puppy eyes, he just snarled at Tessa. Bro could never stay mad at her. So again, they're trying to sexualize him and the synthetic human. Another person saying they've been doing sexual tension between women and predators since 2004, and it's fire, telling Robot Head to shut up. Yeah, there was no sexual tension here. There was none in Alien vs. Predator at all. Absolutely not. None. Kata actually went and saw this. He said, too much CGI and too many wannabe jokes. You can enjoy it for what it is. Had this just been an original sci-fi movie, but as a Predator film, it's dog shit. They made the most intimidating antagonist into a crybaby retard. Yeah. Older Yautja will tie them up to create a challenge for themselves. Grace Randolph will call anybody an incel or misogynist. It's a Minotaur Milk Farm thing, I guess. So, I mean, that's just kind of the thing that they're into. All right, so here's the best one. I got ripped on Twitter for this one. Okay, Hideo Kojima, because apparently anything this guy says is gospel. I've never played a Hideo Kojima game other than I think I played Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes on my GameCube. So I guess if he's behind Metal Gear Solid, then I played that one. I can't think of another Kojima game I've played. Right? Don't care. Whatever. Oh, excuse me. All right, Patriot, get some sleep, dude. These people will have sex with anything. Heartbeat optional. A few days ago, I threw out my back. Well, I can relate to that there. So I wasn't sure I'd make it through to the end watching a movie, but armed with my secret weapon and inflatable lumbar pillow into the chair, I watched Predator Badlands, a back-friendly 107 minutes, and it was great. I'm sure some longtime fans will say this isn't Predator. I too love John McTiernan's Predator, but director Dan Trachtenberg already pulled off a brilliant reimagining of the original style with Prey, successfully completing that mission. Predator Badlands marks his next phase. It builds on an animated film, Killer of Killers. This is a character-driven movie about the Predator Deck and his partner Thea. Ellie is, as always, adorable. Rather than a tale of terror of being hunted, it's a classic comedic action film that depicts the friendship born in the midst of the hunt. Who wants to watch that as a Predator movie? I didn't play Silent Hill. I didn't have a PlayStation. And yeah, a lot of you guys are saying overrated. Exactly. AVP's female character was a sad attempt at matching a character from the comics. In the comics, a ship from a human world crashed on a Yautja planet, and the only survivor was a young girl. Yes, they were saying this on Leon's stream, that they modeled the character in AVP off that chick. But she also had to, like, overcome. She had to prove herself. Makes me think a lot less about Kojima. What was his secret weapon? A 12-inch dildo? Failure of the week, isolation, journey, training, encounter, rebellion, clash, comradeship. Comradeship? Is that a word? I think camaraderie is a word. Betrayal, redemption, reconciliation, unity, revenge, growth, choice, family, and a new threat. These elements form the very blueprint of mainstream Japanese manga storytelling, typified by weekly Shonen Jump. The film also takes heavy visual inspiration from video games. Okay, that's enough. I don't care. So I said Dan Trachtenberg already pulled off a brilliant reimagining of the original style with Prey. I said Prey was utter dog shit, and I'm sick and tired of people pretending it wasn't. Of course, people in the replies like, "Oh yeah, well he's Hideo Kojima, and you're nobody, so okay, his opinion's worth more." So I thought of it, and I did my own tier list. Now, you guys might disagree on some of the placements here, but I think I did a fairly decent job. The way that I currently have all the Predator movies ranked here is at the very top. On S tier, the only Predator film you can have it as S tier is the original Predator. I know a lot of people liked Predator 2 a lot, but Predator 1 is the only S tier Predator movie in my opinion. That's it. Why not just say friendship? Yeah. Predator 2 I put in A, and the only reason I put this one ranked higher than anything else is due to the fact that Danny Glover is awesome in this movie, and the Predator, again, is freaking awesome. The Predator character is great in Predator 2. I didn't like Predator 2 as much as the first movie at all, but as far as the actual Predator goes, and of course Danny Glover, I'm a sucker for most of his movies, that one there is A tier, okay? I'll walk you through it, don't worry. Then you've got Predators and Alien vs. Predator Requiem. I put both those in B tier. Mainly because Predators, while it had some really off-the-wall stuff in it, that's the one where they all get, shipped to the planet and they all have to survive, and they got freaking Danny Trejo and stuff in there. And I'm not even a fan of Adrian Brody. I don't really care for his acting or his face. It was a decent movie. It was entertaining. I didn't hate it. And Alien vs. Predator Requiem, I actually watched it when I was going through all the Predator movies with my wife a year or two ago. Way better movie than I thought. Way better movie. I forgot that Alien vs. Predator Requiem is easily twice the movie Alien vs. Predator is. Alien vs. Predator, it was good the first time I saw it in theaters. I went back and rewatched it. I'm like, this movie's boring. It's lame. The Predators are in it for like 5 minutes. The aliens kill them. It's stupid. I would put Predators and Alien vs. Predator Requiem in B tier. I think that they are decent movies. They both have flaws. The biggest flaw with Alien vs. Predator Requiem is definitely how dark the film is. Not dark as far as like, gritty, but like actual, there's no freaking like light in the movie. It's impossible to see. Then of course, The Predator, C tier. Horrible movie. Absolutely wretched movie. That's the one where they have the mega gigantic Predator character. It's a retarded movie. I think it has Olivia Munn, Aaron Rodgers' old girlfriend in it, and she's terrible. The whole movie's terrible. I put Alien vs. Predator in C only because when I rewatched it last year, it was painful trying to get through it, just how boring it was. So I went ahead and put that in C. The only thing that I put in D tier is all of Dan Trachtenberg's crap. One of which I've seen, and everybody who had a positive thing to say about Badlands said that it's as good as Prey, it's as great as Prey. And if you loved Prey, I take your opinion it's like worth nothing to me. So yeah, Cage, I mean, maybe you'll disagree. I thought Requiem was actually a really good time. I really enjoyed Requiem. Obviously, it's not as awesome as the original movie or as good as Predator 2, but I thought Requiem was a great horror, suspense, action. It's dark, not just the lighting being dark, but it is, they got pregnant women getting infected with alien babies and shit in that movie. It's, the worst aspect is the human story. Take away the human story and it becomes one of the best ones. Right. So again, I couldn't care less about the actual humans in the movie, but the alien and Predator parts of it are fantastic. Oh my God. Fair enough, Cage, but for me, I just don't care that much. So again, that's my ranking. I put that out there. I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I think this is the correct ranking for most of these movies. I don't even need to watch 2 out of 3 of these to know that I have zero interest. And you know what? Badlands might be an enjoyable sci-fi movie, but as a Predator movie, there's not a chance in hell I would probably think it's a Predator movie. So that's where I stand with that. You hated AVP 2004? See, I loved the first one when I first saw it. I thought it was great. But I also was a teenager, I think, when it came out, so I was easily entertained. Then I watched Requiem and didn't really care for it as much. Then I went back and watched them again, and I realized I can't stand Alien vs. Predator because it's just so damn boring, but Requiem was actually really entertaining. So, I don't know. The only Prey I liked is the 2017 game that should have been called Psycho Shock, but Bethesda leadership is profoundly retarded. You know, I downloaded Prey off Game Pass like 3 years ago to play it and never got around to it. Is Predator Requiem the one with the black chick as the lead? Alien vs. Predator is the one that has the black chick as the lead. There is a Black or Latina woman in Alien vs. Predator Requiem. She's come back from deployment, and her husband and daughter are with her, and she's in part. There's no main character as I recall in Requiem because there's like 3 or 4 different storylines going on. Yeah, the black woman, the black chick that's in the entire film is the first movie. Now, the second movie picks up where the first movie left off. So the end of the first movie, you've got the alien predator hybrid that pops out of the dead predator at the end of the movie. And then the second movie, that ship crashes and they start off with the wreckage from that ship. And of course, the aliens running around and stuff all over the ground in the city and all that. But no, Prey was one of those games I was really interested in trying, but I never got around to it. Alien vs. Predator is the one you didn't like? Yeah, it was boring. I liked it at first, and then I was like, nah. On a rewatch, it's just not good. The lines are delivered really poorly. The action is really blah. And then, of course, I think Alien vs. Predator was PG-13, and Requiem might have been rated R. That could be the difference right there. Requiem had a couple of moments that it was like, holy shit. Like, it just kind of like pulled you out of your enthrallment with the movie with like how gruesome it got at different points. Oh, Valkyrie's crash out about Arc Raiders is the highlight of the week. Yeah. The funny thing is I didn't even know who that person was. And then I discovered her Twitter profile. I'm like, oh, first off, there are people saying that woman's trans. Secondly, I'm like, she has 3 million subs on YouTube. Why? Third, then I'm like, oh, and there's her big ass titties and everything else out on display on her Twitter. Like, okay, your opinion means nothing to me now. Like, holy crap. Anyways, let me get a drink of water before I start coughing here. Okay, so it was rated R. There you go. I've looked at Hunting Grounds a million times. Hunting Grounds is on my Steam wish list, and I just have never made myself pull the trigger on that one. I don't know. Too many mixed reviews, I think. All right, so let's talk about Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders is taking over Steam with a new all-time concurrent player high of 462,500, surpassing Helldivers 2. That is insane. Okay, I hadn't even looked at the recent Steam count because I was always comparing this with like Outer Worlds 2 when they both released, seeing how many players each game was getting, and I did not realize that this concurrent player was going to go even higher, right? But it's even better than that because apparently they had 700,000 concurrent across all platforms at one point. They even put out this statement on Twitter. Hey Raiders, it's been a little over 1 week since we opened up the tunnels for you, and this past weekend we reached over 700,000 concurrent Raiders on the surface. The many different ways you play and participate in Arc Raiders have completely blown us away, going far beyond whatever we imagined. You surprise us, you outsmart us, you keep us on our toes. We wouldn't have it any other way. Oh no, I think we're talking about a different Are we talking about a different Valkyrie? Okay, so Cage, you're talking about the actual Truth, which Valkyrie are you talking about? Because Valkyrie or Valkyrie or whatever her name is, I have no idea if she has ever played Arc Raiders or not. The one I'm talking about is a Insta-thought, E-thought, E-whore, whatever you want to call her. I can't even go to her Twitter profile on stream because it would get my entire channel nuked. Okay. Found Hunting Grounds to get boring quick, fun for a moment, but you're also, like you said, you don't do player versus player games. Gonna be hated here maybe, but I've watched so many people play on YouTube playing Arc Raiders. It's so effing boring. Now, Smeg, not every game resonates with everybody else. Look, Escape from Tarkov is one of those games that you either love it or you hate it, and most people enjoy somebody else playing it who's really, really good at it versus playing it themselves. Valkyrie Bryn, that's who I'm talking about. So yeah, not Hassan's girlfriend. Not every game is for everybody. That being said, if you want to buy Arc Raiders, guys, in stock on Instant Gaming, link down below. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I know, I'm probably going to pick it up. I know I've got a million games to finish, and I'll never finish them at this rate if I keep buying games, but I really want to buy the game. I really enjoyed the playtest, the server slam they did. I was having a good time with it. So now we're going to get into, Empress, I'm talking full display. Everything. Nothing to the imagination, okay? Everything's out on full display. So from the Gamer, 7 days ago, of course, the Gamer, Gaymer, I say don't shoot in Arc Raiders, and no one listens to me. So there was a lot of complaining over the last week from people saying they wanted a PvE only mode. Now remember, this game got reworked and delayed because the original intent of the game was to have it be PvE only. And in that situation, the developer said the game sucks. We have to make it more interesting. We have to do better. We got to make the game more enjoyable. So they made it PvE VP. Oh my God, Smegan, DB, you guys. How is it allowed, Empress? Because it's on Twitter. There's no limitations on Twitter. You can put whatever you want to out there. It just, for streaming, going over people's Twitter posts and profiles, you have to be very careful what you pull up on stream. So you compare that with PC Gamer, which is funny because PC Gamer is a joke. You got this guy here that says, "I'm not here to make friends. I will fill you with bullets if I see you in Arc Raiders." This is exactly how I'd be playing. Like, there are people who manage to congregate and get the entire server to work together to get into the extract all together, and that's great. I would probably be the person that's like, "I'm going to shoot you in the back," because I've been shot in the back. I played like 3 rounds on Arc Raiders, and I got shot in the back twice. I'm waiting 3 months for this to try to see if they capitulate to the PvE locusts. I hope not. Just keep adding new maps every year, and I can play it for decades. There you go. Remember I posted in Discord a few days ago about that community is supposedly chill. Yeah. No worries, Oblivion. We'll be wrapping up in the next little bit here. You won't have to catch up on too much. Oh, you will. You did miss the whole first half, though. Damn. Feels bad, man. Okay. So, now you get to all the whiny crybabies. All right, no worries, Empress. Take off whenever you need to. So, I haven't listened to this video in its entirety, but this was a beginning of a video that then turned into a 46-second rant from this woman who then nuked the video and then put her video back up. So, you have this Valkyrie Bryn, Valkmami Bryn. Again, like I said, 3 million subs on YouTube. In fact, hang on a second, guys. Hang on a second. I want to show you the kind of content she puts out. Because since we're going to have to talk about people's opinions, people who, you know, are gamers and have an opinion about things, let's see what kind of content she makes. Okay, here we go. Valkyrie, 3.11 million subscribers. That's cool. I wonder why she has so many subscribers. Oh yeah. First video, channel trailer on the channel is a recoil compilation, 7 minutes long, of zoomed in on her gigantic fake ass, recoil making it bounce around. Yeah. So this is your high quality content. This is your 3 million YouTube subscriber content here, okay? Basically, this is life on easy mode as a woman. And yes, she's a retired Marine veteran. I'm starting to think possibly a dude based on the bolt-ons and the fake ass and the size. She's super tall, broad shoulders. I don't know. But yes, this is the person whose opinion we're supposed to take seriously. All right. So here we go. Congratulations to Arc Raiders for making the funnest game, funnest is not a word, for sociopaths and assholes. I'll come back when there's PvE only servers. Locked the replies. Lugia, I don't know. There are people saying that she is. I don't know. Okay. Yes, griefers are a nightmare to deal with in any game. That's nothing new. Oh no. I zoomed in. Hang on a second. Now my chat is... I gotta go back here and fix this. There we go. Let's set this back to normal. Now I can see the chat again. Oh, thank God. Oof. That was close. That was really rough. All right. What does she have to say in 5 seconds here? Oh, she's just uninstalling it. That's it? That was the whole video? Okay. So apparently a video of her uninstalling the game got people so mad at her. The tweet's got 1.2 million views. It's only got 2,000 likes, 60 comments. 60 comments, 750 bookmarks though, because all of us are looking at this going, you are a twat, right? So here was a response video. She nuked this video and then re-uploaded it. Every time I click on the quoted post, it disappears, but it shows up on my phone. So I can't tell if the video is actually back up or not. But Kata, thank God he was actually around to record it. He put it back up here. So Kata says she really was crashing out so bad over Arc Raiders, she deleted the video and resorted to posting titties to make people forget about it. Women. So here is her response video, okay?
Okay, so I played Arc Raiders for about 60 hours, and I left the game because people are assholes in the game. It's a very toxic game that promotes very antisocial behavior. Stealing, lying, cheating is very common in that game, and it's only been out for like maybe, 2 weeks now? So I made a post about it on Twitter saying, I'm deleting this game. I don't want to play it anymore. It's too toxic. I don't like it. And now I'm getting berated on Twitter by people who are angry at me for being toxic, and they're just calling me a cunt, and they're just calling me a pussy and saying that I suck at the game. This is exactly what they did in the game.
Yeah, mind you, if you own a phone or a computer that connects to the internet, you can see every bit of her body that she has to offer for free. You don't even have to pay for OnlyFans. You don't have to do that. She has that all out on display on her own account. Okay, that's why I told you I can't even go to her account because in her feed it's nonstop her standing there naked. Okay. Definitely a barracks whore if she's an actual woman. Yeah. What the fuck is she on about exactly, Avernum? Oh, I love Kata. Kata and I he's a real, can I say real nigga? Soft A, not the hard R. Because he's awesome. And he's been telling me he wants to get me on New Black Street again one of these nights. The only problem is they stream way earlier than I do, so I don't know how I would do that. Oh, War Habit, I'm not going to show you. I'm just saying, you'd have to go look for it for yourself. She looks like she needs a helmet for people to take her seriously. Yeah. Why you shouldn't play PvP games, lady? Yep. Now I know what Trace meant by who finds her hot. She looks like a 7-foot tall blow-up doll. Yeah. So, all right. How am I not canceled? I do like Kata because he's shorter than me, although to be fair, he's got like 50 pounds on me. So my extra inch on him means nothing, especially given that I've got a jacked up back. I think he said his neck is jacked up. So between him and I, we have tall person problems while we're both vertically challenged. I don't understand how this even happened. But yeah. Anyways, then she posts crap like this from Sora. She even has her little username on it, on Sora, right? Women gaming streamers on X trying to grift by pandering to their shitty incel followers. Mind you, Valkyrie, in a separate reply, had made a comment that she thinks trans women are hot. So maybe a little bit of a self-report, I don't know. But the tweet's still up, I'm pretty sure you can find it.
I'm not like her. I'm not like the other girls. I'm different. I agree with everything terrible you say. Please give me money.
Again, talking about women who grift by pandering to their shitty incel followers, right? Says, I can't stand this type of incel. Genuinely get therapy because video games aren't therapy. Why is it so quiet? Hang on a second. Dude, that's all the way up.
Kickball with him again. Jordan Starman moved away, and now I'll never play kickball with him again.
Oh, you should kill yourself.
I don't even understand how this is humor. I don't quite get it. Truth, you're probably taller than both of us if I put Kata on my shoulders or vice versa. Yeah, everyone who disagrees with me is a grifter. Exactly. So then you get the other people complaining. Hot how if there's a paper under the dress. The reason I know that she's a man, she supports the Rainbow Mafia. I mean, Kata was investigating the coochie. He said that it looked normal to him, but I'm like, dude, you're looking way too close if that's the case, man. Okay, so this guy here says, I think I'm done with Arc Raiders, guys. Being effed over constantly when trying to do things in a game just isn't fun. I think I'm on the side of the people calling for PvE now. I killed the queen, then we got third-partied. I lost my hull cracker and everything I had looted apart from one queen core. Made a Jupiter and was on my way to down her again with my team. And while fighting a Rocketeer, got third-partied and lost everything I've been working on for days. Not fun. Okay? Don't play extraction shooters. Arc Raiders is really fun, but unfortunately, I'm coming to find out that the fanbase is full of Redditors trying to impose this stupid unspoken rule that you shouldn't attack other players even though it's a PvP game. Okay, fair enough. That's a legitimate complaint. All right. Veronica, think I'm done with Arc Raiders until they do something about the PvP cheese. It stinks too because this game started out so good. First squads got toxic and now solos is starting. I blame the streamers, honestly. They don't seem to care about anything else. I know there are insanely high numbers playing right now, but we'll see how long people will stay. It's only been out a short while, so retention hasn't had a chance to be an issue. I'd love to see the data on how the vast majority of people try to play. People complaining about an extraction shooter getting screwed over and like, you're 9 inches taller than me? Damn, dude. Yeah, how's your back feel? That's what makes the game fun, right? Oh, if there's a peepee under the dress. Okay. I'm wondering, like, what do you mean paper? What are you talking about? Yeah, people are finding out why extraction shooters are hardcore, not mainstream. And dude, the thing is, Hugo, I've actually played a fair amount of Escape from Tarkov. Probably, I'd say, across 5 years, 50 hours. So no, nothing, but enough to know in one wipe. I probably put 30 to 50 hours in it. Enough to know what extraction shooters are really about and go, is this really worth my time? Is it really that fun? Arc Raiders is nowhere near as bad as Escape from Tarkov. Not even close, okay? I don't know, Smeg. They are tourists, though. They want to finish all the quests and then move on. They're tourists. Yeah. Yeah, it's an extraction shooter, guys. What are you expecting, right? Okay, we got this one here. This is by far my magnum opus of ratting in Arc Raiders. And this is a guy who's a streamer, Twitch streamer here. Escape from Tarkov enjoyer, master rat. So this guy's a rat. He's that guy that hides at extract and screws you over and steals your stuff. For context, nearly the entire solo server joined up at the new Hidden Bunker POI on Spaceport during a Hidden Bunker major event. While they were attempting to solve the puzzle, I ran off to the last expiring extract at about 25 minutes remaining, trapped it up, and returned to the Hidden Bunker as if I never left. The group never solved the Hidden Bunker, and at about 6 minutes remaining, everyone decided to roll it to the final extract. Okay? So, here's the kind of stuff these people are complaining about. Now, mind you, I want to be perfectly honest about this. I have no problem with this. What is going on with my screen? Hang on a second. I have no problem with this. You're playing a game that's an extraction shooter. Nobody has to ally up with anybody. You don't have to be nice. You don't even have to work with your own team. You could say, screw you guys, I'm going to go off. I had two guys. We were in a fight during the server slam. I was trying to help cover for one guy who got downed. I was taking out some of the little drone guys. I had another guy I was in a shootout with. I got downed, and the two dudes who were on my team never came over and picked me up. I'm talking they were like 10 feet away. They could have picked me up at any point, right? Never even tried. It's just a brutal game. That's just how it is, right? All right, so here you go.
Testing. We have enough people to try it. At 8 minutes and 30 seconds, everyone's going to hit a terminal.
All right, we're going to rig the elevator. This is their exit. We'll be back. Now, I assume that most, if not all, people are in that bunker right now on the server, so nobody should be watching this exfil. Little do they know I'm bugging the hell out of this thing.
The next extract point is 400 meters away. I'm going out. I can't stay here for 6 more minutes. I'm going out.
I don't know if they're gonna cry geek, but I'm sure they did.
Let's do it. Let's go. Let's go. It's happening. Hey, wait, don't hit the button. We waited for you, guys. We waited for you.
Make a photo in the elevator. Stand in. I will make a photo.
Oh, that'd be awesome, bro. That'd be awesome. Let's get a photo for Reddit.
The fact that it says photo for Reddit right there, I'm like, oh my god.
Everybody in the elevator.
Everybody get in. I'm pressing the button.
Like, that is some top tier backstabbing. Whether or not you like this kind of gameplay or not, you gotta respect it. Like, that is filthy, okay? And if that happened to you, you'd be like, oh shit, I'll never trust anybody ever again, right? It is what it is, you know? Don't play extraction shooters. Don't work with people who are supposed to be your enemies.
You hear that, Adam? You hear that? Okay. It's the silence of the lambs.
Holy shit! It worked! Iron Man, baby!
That reminds me of the JD Vance meme where it's talking about how you can hear the screams, right? Dude laughs like a psychopath. He probably is Warhabit. Probably is.
Yeah, we'll be seeing that on Reddit. Another Reddit moment. Oh!
Another Reddit moment. Oh my god. So again, I don't like Reddit. I wouldn't go on Reddit, but it is what it is. We need bad guys too. Anyone can be a character. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it might not be your genre, but people can respect it, right? That's the kind of stuff people are complaining about. And it's like, okay, don't play an extraction shooter. I don't have to tell you. So then you have this one here. Wouldn't mind stream sniping him and griefing him. Hey, I'm sure that, you know what? That shit probably happens too. Bounty hunting Black Cat, that'd be a great idea. Yeah. I laugh and keep playing. That's part of PvP. These softies need to go and get effed. Yeah, exactly. Probably in the Israeli army. So from Eurogamer here, though, a little bit of controversy. Because there's this thing where apparently there was a little bit of AI used in part of this game. And despite the fact that the game is overwhelmingly positive as far as the reviews on the Steam and the critical scores and everything else, and there are people like Shroud saying Game of the Year contender, don't vote for Expedition 33, vote for Arc Raiders, this game's incredible, blah, blah, blah. Apparently, Eurogamer decided to give it 2 out of 5 stars, and their reasoning is that rich PvE combat and an unusually friendly community make Arc Raiders a more approachable extraction shooter than most, but Embark Studios' continued use of AI voice gen against its reputation. I have no intention of reading this entire piece of shit article, but to actually summarize it as game good, game fun, community great, AI bad. 2 out of 5. Mind you, you don't have to love that Arc Raiders decided to go full price instead of being free to play and then having their overpriced skins. Have legitimate complaints about legitimate things, you know. $40 price tag is good, but then you add microtransactions. That's bad. Okay, make a legitimate argument for it. But this dude is going to complain because they used AI. After watching this, it makes me want to play. I won't, but it has actually made it more interesting than the other YouTubers I saw play. Right, and you know what? I think, to be fair, there are games that you could watch a YouTuber or a streamer play, and you think it looks fun. Marauders was another extraction shooter that I watched somebody play, and I was like, okay, it's kind of like Escape from Tarkov, a little bit less intensive, more like I would say Arc Raiders than Tarkov at this point. I thought Marauders looked really fun, really interesting. I played it like twice. Not just because I have very little time. I play other games. Like I'll tomorrow night I'll probably sit here on my computer at 9 o'clock, not actually get a video recorded and play Insurgency or something. There are games I'll play, but Marauders just never really got me interested in it, you know? Doesn't look interesting to me at all. You know, fair enough. Again, different strokes for different folks, right? So, of course, they're getting raked over the coals. If you look at the actual replies, you got Asmongold here at the very top saying, it'll be a wonderful day when I get to farm your company because they do layoffs. You know it's coming. Everyone knows it. You're going home soon. And you know, he's just waiting with that little Pepe McDonald's meme so that he can say welcome home as soon as they get laid off, right? Did Dan do some black magic right there? What did I do? Anybody else see anything weird? Everything looks fine to me on my end. Let's see here. Apparently, the same reviewer, Rick Lane. What did I do, guys? What happened to me? What happened to the stream? Because I'm not watching Streamlabs. I didn't see what happened. Oh yeah, the McDonald Pepe is fantastic. Dude, my computer's been doing weird things, guys. It cut out, then bled back in. Oh man. Dude, Maybe that's YouTube. Nothing blacked out on my end. Nothing happened over here. Nothing weird. Stream health looks fine. But, Leon had his stream completely cut out yesterday where he had to restart it. So, screen cuts out occasionally? That's bizarre. That's really weird. No, I was noticing that my Elgato little stream deck thing here, for the last couple days, has had like lines running through it. My screen has gone to black twice in the last week. When I'm in the middle of using it, it goes to sleep mode and then comes right back on because I'm moving the mouse around. So it's doing weird shit. Maybe it is Windows 11. That could be it. I got blacked. Oh no. Oh no. Well, if I was to get blacked, I'm not going to say who, because then they'll get clipped out of context. So I'm not going to say it. Yeah, War Habit sounds like it was everybody. Wasn't just you guys. All right, so Concord review, a hero shooter that nails the shooting but fumbles the heroes. 3 out of 5 stars for Concord, but 2 out of 5 for Arc Raiders. Says the N-word. I didn't say the N-word. It was... Yes, it's Kata. It would be Kata. Anyways. Legendary Drop says, so you're scoring a company not based on the quality of the game, but on your disdain for a tool that was used. I can't imagine why we keep seeing layoffs in games journalism. You got Clean saying, just ruined your game review credibility here, LMAO. Heel versus Babyface. Gamers like it, so we don't. 2 out of 5. Eurogamer. Big Fry says, it's usually that you guys gave this game a higher score, etc., but failed to realize it's different reviewers. This is one of those times where we can directly point to the reviewer of Arc Raiders giving Concord a higher score last year. Eurogamer is a disgrace. Again, just everybody's saying the same shit. So Legacy Killa says, this will definitely be talked about. Eurogamer just tanked Arc Raiders' review score. On OpenCritic, it was at 1.94 out of 100, one of the best reviewed multiplayer games ever, and it's now fallen down to 88 out of 100 in large part thanks to Eurogamer's 4 out of 10 score. Ouch. That's nasty. That's nasty. So Luke Stevens, somebody who I know people think is kind of a shill, I've heard people make that accusation before, says they have a history of penalizing games for things outside the game itself, like the politics of their creators, also Eurogamer on KCD2 earlier this year, saying that's before we get into the naughty briar patch of its director being a vocal supporter of a movement whose effects continue to cause real and tangible harm to the wider industry. Yeah, 3 out of 5 for KCD2. Interesting. Okay. Then you got some retard in Brazil says, oh, I did not know this game used AI. What a way to kill any interest I had in it. F Arc Raiders. Really? Okay. Pirate Software. Guys, Pirate Software over here, seeming to have a decent take, says 2 out of 5 for Arc Raiders is an absurdly low review score. I've never cared much for the extraction shooter genre before this. My most positive experience was in the Division Dark Zones, which I love the hell out of. Arc Raiders is a blast and made me rethink how much fun these kind of games can be. I hate generative AI because artists get ripped off when training data includes their work without pay. Voice actors hired for this game were paid and agreed to have their voices used. It was part of the contract, and that is their agreement to make. For me, the location and item callouts seem blind and lifeless. I don't really care when I'm shitting my pants, dodge rolling into extract while an enemy squad shoots down robots around me to help me escape. This game community kicks ass, and so does the game. Well, we all know what Pirate thinks of Eurogamer at this point. Oh, where is this at?
Oh shit, no, this is actually really dumb. That's awful, dude. No, eat my entire ass. This shit sucks. That's a really stupid ass move. That's an incredibly stupid ass move. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat shit then. They can eat my entire ass. The whole thing. That sounds stupid as shit.
That is the funny thing too, actually. Come to think of it, Smeg's right. All NPCs really are a form of AI. So it is weird. I know that they're talking about AI in terms of like actual voice generation, dialogue lines. I know that Expedition 33 got into a little bit of controversy, although it didn't really matter, because there was some posters on a light post that were AI generated, and they were garbled. They didn't mean anything. It was just gibberish, right? Oh, guys, a total knob war habit. The point is the fact that even Pirate Software thinks it's a messed up thing. It's like if Pirate Software, it's like the line off Home Alone. If Uncle Frank says no, you know it's really bad. That's Pirate Software at this point. Asmongold goes Scorched Earth after Eurogamer gave Arc Raiders 2 stars. You know it's coming. Everyone knows that you're going home soon. Yeah, we already looked at that. Oh my god, they have it animated now. That's fantastic. For Arc Raiders to ride the wave of human sociability all the way to the bank while also being so contemptuous of the thing that makes us social animals in its own workflow demonstrates a lack of artistic integrity that I find impossible to ignore. And this guy here says based. How is it based to give it 2 out of 5 stars because they used some AI? Heartband will get a 1 out of 5 now from Eurogamer. To be fair, Heartbound is a legitimate 2 out of 5. I would say Heartbound's not a 1 out of 5. I played enough of it to be able to get my refund. I genuinely did not plan on returning Heartbound. I was like, you know what? I'll play the game. Maybe I'll stream it. I'll record the video clips. I'll put those in a video about Pirate Software. I'll review his game in part of the videos that I covered Pirate Software in. Maybe that's something that'll actually be worth my time. But I got through like an hour and a half of Heartbound, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to finish this. I just can't. So I got a refund. It's the only game to this day, other than Valheim, which I then repurchased, that I've ever refunded. Can't wait for AI to play the art community. Yeah, it sucks. There'll be some good artists caught up in the middle of that, but at the end of the day, it's like, it's the same thing with localizers. The localizers that completely screw everything up, right? I just heard that Heartbound forgot the game part of gameplay. Yeah, it's not good. It's really not good. So this guy here, I have no idea who he is. Daniel Ahmad says 160,000 followers. Director of Research and Insights at Nico Partners. I analyze the video games market in Asia and MENA. Interesting. No idea. Says Arc Raiders is a multi-million selling game that's been positively received by reviewers and gamers and uses Gen AI. It turns out that when the final product is good or the tech is integrated in a positive way, the majority of consumers will accept it. This isn't to say that the general public doesn't understand how generative AI can be used in negative ways, but that consumer-led boycotts or buyer shaming won't work in certain scenarios. That's also true. One thing people do resonate with is how new tech like Gen AI may impact them, which is why focusing on the wider public perception, labor relations, and state regulation would be a more effective approach. Regardless, developers are continuing to experiment with and integrate the tech into workflows in the final product. AI native games aren't a thing and won't be a thing, but you can expect many other types of implementations. And I think that's the honest, best take on this. You're not going to see games that are fully AI. We've seen the little snippets of an AI game. We put one on the stream a week or two ago that was utter dog shit. It looked horrible, right? It didn't work. It was just a choose your own adventure thing, and everything is the train is opening and then it's a tunnel instead of a train, and then his gun disappears. It was just terrible. Don't like this dude. He often just says disingenuous stuff to own lit chuds. Dude, that's 90% of the gaming people on Twitter. Nothing you can do about that. All right, Empress. I'll be raiding you in a few minutes here. It's not new in game dev. Hey, Susano. We were talking about you earlier. Cream of the crop in industry will never be replaced. Irreplaceable human beings will always be needed. AI is a tool. Great artists will still thrive without it. And that doesn't mean that you can't also generate art without using AI at all. There will still be artists. I've talked about my daughter before. She's 10, going on 11 next year, and she's already an incredible artist. And I'm talking pencil, crayon, painting, on the iPad, drawing. She has an artistic mind, so she can actually see things in her head and put them on canvas, and I can't do that. I've never been able to. But that doesn't mean that in the future she won't be able to use AI to make things look better, and that doesn't mean that she still won't be a good artist anyways, even if she does use AI. It's just a tool, right? It's a tool that can easily get out of hand. There's no question about that, right? But at the end of the day, yeah, Will Smith eating spaghetti. There will be changes, but it doesn't mean that everything that's human related is going to be replaced. I think AI is one of those things that, as much as I don't want to imagine that we'll ever live in a Skynet type situation or the Matrix where we truly have to worry about the machines taking over and all of humanity being wiped out by our own devices, I also think at some point there's a certain amount of the AI stuff that you can embrace and look at and say there's a positive impact that you can have with AI. And at some point, you have to accept that it's not going anywhere and realize that it is still just a tool that you can use, right? It's just a tool. Why is my dark mode off? What the hell? Good Lord. There are interesting implementations for generative AI, but they still need to be frameworked to work properly. Yeah, and there's just no way that you can just say, hey, AI, make me this, make me that. It doesn't work like that. It has never worked like that, and it's not going to, even if the AI gets better. Alien Earth, that kind of freaked me out if that was possible. I didn't watch Alien Earth. Not all artists are like this. I'm a product designer and graphic designer. I'm not like these people. Wishing AI takes over an entire industry because people on Blue Sky exist is wrong. Yeah, I mean, there's a certain amount like where you can go too far. But for example, when it comes to localizers, my God, the localizers are ones that if they lose their jobs, I probably wouldn't care. Probably wouldn't care if all localization translations were done by AI instead of people, because at some point, it's like voice acting. When you look at voice acting and realize that 90% of voice actors out there are insane, you don't feel sorry for them if they get replaced by AI. It's just a natural instinct. Crayon. Sorry, crayon. Hey, at least I don't say, like maple syrup, right? There are people who say syrup or syrup. It's syrup. Back then, OpenAI beat StarCraft players, but somehow they forgot about adding proper AI enemies to games. Not into the transhuman thing? Yeah, not so much. I think Crimson Desert looks cool. I don't think I'll ever play it. Much like any other roof or roof. It's, well, if we're talking about like a dog says woof, like roof, but if we're talking like over your head, it's a roof, not a roof. Yeah, the localizers have made such a mess of things. And I didn't realize it because I'm not into comics and manga and everything else. But when you start seeing side-by-side Japanese translations to English translations, and then you realize that every one of these localizing teams has all of this inclusive language like requirements cooked into all their shit, you go, wait a second. Your job is not to make a Japanese phrase or expression that might be offensive to modern audiences. Your job is not to translate that in a way that's going to be gender and, sexual orientation inclusive. Your job is to translate it in a way that makes sense in English, right? Mason Link from the same dude that makes Based Fargo. I didn't know that. Interesting. Crimson Desert seems a bit unfocused for me. Too much going on. Doesn't really show me how it plays. Isn't it just like open world action RPG from what I've seen? Isn't that just kind of the premise? Dogs say rough, woof, and bark. Pick one. Dogs don't say bow wow. I don't know who thinks dogs say bow wow. That's no. No, dogs say woof. My dog says woof. Voice actors are generally all liberals in the West. It's crazy. Isn't it crazy how they're all in the same industries? Like, they all know each other, right? It's just nuts. He's a wood chipper cat? Ah, oh no. Some Yanks say roof. They don't elongate the O's. I know, but I say roof. Okay, in my state here in Washington, there's apparently this thing. It's like a lot of people in Montana, I guess, also. Instead of saying like the root of the problem, they'd say root. My dog says he did not hear anything. Like it's like, okay, soot makes sense. Soot from a fireplace or ash or whatever, like that makes sense. But saying root, like the roots of the plant, no. And I've heard people all over Washington say that my entire life. Like, of course, in Washington, there are also people who add an R in words like wash. And so they'll say, I'm going to go wash my dishes. I'm not even kidding. Like, wash is a real thing here. It's not all Washingtonians, but it is the thing. I've heard multiple times. I don't know why, but apparently we're a little slow over here. All right, make sure to get the redirect all set here. There we go. We got that all set up. Guess it's an accent thing, maybe. Comedian Brian Reagan has a whole skit on how dogs do not say bow wow. Good clean humor, but it's chuckle-worthy. Yeah, finding good clean humor that's also worth laughing at is really tough. Like, okay, we went and saw Dave Landau a couple months ago, The wife and I just saw him at this little comedy club. He had like 50 people. We were able to get like a picture and stuff with him. It was crazy. Like there was nobody there. He had like one security guard and everything. It was super crazy. But there was an opening act guy, and then there was a female comedian who I didn't find very funny. But whatever, she was all right. And then Dave came out and he did his routine. And my God, not a single one of them were clean, but I laughed my ass off, right? The entire night. I couldn't stop laughing. My sides were literally hurting so bad that I thought I was going to die. It's like when I have like a cramp over here from my Crohn's flaring up, but it was like intense because I couldn't stop laughing. Your language pronounces every E in Mercedes differently. Don't try to look for logic. Well, how should we say? I mean, that's a good point. The English language is definitely a little jacked up. You're not wrong there. I'm guessing you covered those that were removed, which I was calling for. We'll find out later. No, actually, Susano, I didn't cover any of the localizer stuff. I didn't cover anything with Square Enix today. I didn't cover anything with is it a Northern thing? Okay, Cage, I didn't know that. We covered the Yotei sales numbers and the new Predator movie and Arc Raiders. Dude, Dave he's freaking awesome. I'd have to divulge some private information to tell you about our interaction with him because it has to do with my name and stuff because he was having a good time with that, but it was fun. So he's a cool dude. All right, guys, I'm gonna say goodnight. I'm going to hit the hay. Hopefully I didn't miss too many of your guys' chats. After Moxie rated the stream, it became a little difficult to stay on topic and also keep up with all the chats, but I think we hit most of the important ones. And don't feel unimportant if I left you off. I'm also really, really tired. Tonight was one of those nights, an hour before stream, I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? I'm so damn tired. Antivio? What's Antivio? Dave Landau. He was a comedian on Steven Crowder's show. He was like a regular co-host of his. Little guy. He's like an inch shorter than I am. What did the hay do? The hay tried to speak back to me, man. I'm not going to make a joke about hitting my wife. That's not funny. Not going to do it. Anyways. Try to play some games, bro. Dude, no, I have to go to sleep because I got to go to work in the morning. It's almost midnight, man. I have to sleep. I'll play games tomorrow. I'll play some games tomorrow. I'm going to try to get to work early enough to get some videos recorded at work. Instead of working my real job, I'm going to work my job I don't get paid for and try to get some videos uploaded because, my God, it's been like 2 months now. Not pulling a JDA. You know the funniest thing? And I hope this isn't too much of a self-report. Because I've been called Islamophobic. I've been called anti-Semitic. I don't care what people call me. I genuinely don't care. I don't hate Jews. I don't hate all Muslims. I'm just like, there are people that I just can't stand, and there's people that make excuses for other people that I can't stand, and I'm just tired of people in general. But for me, it wasn't like JDA going anti-Semitic at Master of the TDS that really was like the nail in the coffin for me. I didn't care about JDA being anti-Semitic. I know his views on like the Holocaust and everything else. I was like, I already know where he stood on all that kind of stuff. For me, it was all the other things. Him being a narcissistic sociopath, the allegations about his wife, the furry art stuff. I'm like, okay, these other things I already knew. This is all information that I'm looking at going, at some point, if any of this is true, it's just too much. You're just too much. You're just not worth the time. Not worth the hassle, you know? How can they call Imam Dan Islamophobic? They can't. They can't. I mean, I'm very halal. This is the most... Dude, I was at Panda Express picking up dinner tonight, and some dude is like, that's a nice beard. I'm like, oh, thanks. I'm like, I'm not used to random guys walking up to me and saying, nice beard. Could be the thing that unites humanity. Yeah. I'm not admitting anything, man. I'm not admitting anything. I'm just saying. But again, yeah. Am I being an idiot? No, everyone's trying to cancel me. Dude, he was doing that once a week. Everything with JDA was, oh, they're trying to cancel my book. They're trying to cancel my show. They're trying to cancel my this. They're trying to cancel my that. It's like, maybe you're just an ass. Like, you can be right about 90% of things and still be an ass that nobody wants to be around. It is possible. The two things are not mutually exclusive. Like, you can be an evil, awful son of a bitch and be right about most things, and people still won't want to be around you. It's Shocking, I know. It's crazy, right? All right, guys. I'm going to officially end the stream. If you hang around, it's going to redirect over to Empress. We're going to go raid her channel now that she's streaming Ninja Gaiden 4. I'll probably hang for a few minutes just to get things going over there. And I'm going to be done talking before I hit in stream because I know you guys are just waiting for me to cut myself off. Oh, I got it. Well, see, there you go, Susano. My thing is, if you can't take a joke or like at least have conversations, discuss things without throwing terms out there, it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm tired of everyone getting labeled everything under the sun, you know? Oh my God, Mike Zero. Holy crap, that's a name I haven't heard for a while. All right, I'm going to hit in stream about 10 seconds after I stop talking so I don't cut myself off. I swear I can accomplish this. Anyways, guys, I thank you all for hanging out. It's been a lot of fun. I'll try to do a stream Wednesday, if not Friday. Fridays I'm not digging as much. We'll try to do Wednesday for sure. But in the meantime, appreciate all you guys for hanging out. I will see you over in Empress's channel in a few minutes, and then I'm going to get some sleep.